There we go. Shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world. Whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted in under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, we welcome you this morning. So, family, yes, I had to fight with a couple things. Trying to get on, schedule the broadcast. Internet goes down, headset goes down, speakers are down. Still may have some internet issues and connectivity because around this time, for some odd reason, my internet always kind of gives me some issues on these Fridays, these pre-Shabbats. And so I said, no, the enemy is trying. The enemy. And so I finally made it on because I'm not gonna lie, I got up late. I hit that snooze button about 7 times because my sinuses, like in Florida, this is your moist season, and that moist season it wreaks havoc because of the molds and everything else that you're exposed to. So I take my Claritin, and I have my little Flonase and things of that nature. But it's just this time, it's gonna hit you. So I have to do my black seed oil, things of that nature. Vitamin C, vitamin D's. So I really have to increase the um, vitamin capacities just to fight this thing off. It usually lasts for, I would say, 2 or 3 months, about until about September, October. Once that first, usually the hurricane like just sweeps it on out, or that tropical storm that hits, it really reduces all that moisture in the air. And you can see that moisture has crept all up the East Coast. And we've witnessed here in the United States, um, Eastern New York, um, we've seen Vermont, New Hampshire all get hit by the floods. And so it's just that season. Those allergies took me down. I tried to get my sinuses going. Then that ended up getting this earache. The earache lasted about good 20 to 25 minutes when you try to flush your sinuses. So now I'm feeling a little bit better. But it was just a morning. It was a morning for me to get on here and talk about some current events. I believe me, personally speaking, I have to say personally speaking, I believe we've seen the culmination in this awakening. From the beginning of the questions of who we are to understanding the impacts of who we are to now seeing the impacts of who we are on that grand global shift. And it has been a grand and global shift. And, I don't, everybody has their own opinion about this, and that's fine. But again, it's not opinions that matter, it's actually actions. We can have an opinion that the United States is not fighting Russia. That's a good opinion. The actions tell you otherwise. And really the baseline of opinions is really the fundamental of what that person is comfortable with in the reality that they're witnessing and interpreting that reality. That's why I made the joke yesterday, of the war being lost, but the war being won here in the US while concessions are being made. And family, if you don't realize what's actually happening and what has happened, this war has not happened for a recent standpoint. It was not 2021, nor was it 2022. This was 2013, 14 till now. It was always in the making. Even, well, this started in the Obama administration. But we didn't understand what the continual buildup. It was a very, very slow process. Because when it's slow and when it's been slowed, right, nobody really pays attention to the thing creeping on the ground until it's much larger, it's much bigger, and now it's in your face. And now you can't ignore it. It cannot be ignored. No matter how many warning signs have been provided. And you have to understand the Most High, He is a fair Elohim. When you read back in Exodus, and you read Exodus chapters 12, 13, and 14, when all of those plagues were happening, there's something that is popping on up in that scripture. When it said that the Egyptians were looking at or at Moses favorably. Why is that? Because Moses would tell them what was going on, what was getting ready to happen. None of it was in the dark. You couldn't accuse him of not letting people know. And as he would explain, this is what was going on. When it happened, no one could complain. But it was always the hard headed folks that it always occurs. You never told us that this angel of death was going to pass over. I'm pretty sure that there were a lot of Egyptians that heard and saw what them Israelites were doing, and they did the exact same thing. Because at that point, why would you not listen and pay attention? Maybe I just do it just because. Better to be safe than sorry. But when that plague happened and all the firstborn throughout the land of Egypt was destroyed, if they hadn't sacrificed the Passover lamb and done the instructions of what the Most High declared, then there would have been a loss. And there was a loss. And that was back then at that time. And now we see these similarities happen because why? Because everybody is back on their ancient paths, us and them. What decision, what declaration will be made, will be stated? And truthfully speaking, it's already stated in the word. So we really don't have a lot of searching out to do and finding out the mysteries of things because a lot of these plagues have been in other apocryphal and pseudepigraphic sources. that have clearly and definitively articulated what would be happening at this time. Whether or not people want to listen or pay attention or just, cover their mouths or excuse me, cover their ears and shout, like we had said, like the word has said, they can do all that, but they don't have that much time to do it. Because now things are moving very, very quickly. Everything has been escalating. Everything is escalatory. And when people say, well, Putin he's just trying to bide his time, he's just doing this, he's just doing that. In my personal opinion, in my personal opinion, Putin will do that work when the Most High tells him it's time. So I don't see it as any great withholding of, you know, being measured and things of that nature. To me personally, I don't think that that's the case. For me, I see this as the Most High is keeping him back until he's ready to unleash him. And you gotta remember in the word it says, in that day, in that hour, all of a sudden. Oh yeah, and you're right up next, and we are assuming. There's great assumptions. That's why I said, look, this is my personal opinion. I like to throw that caveat on out there, just based off of what I'm seeing, based off of what I've witnessed, based off of what we've seen. We don't necessarily see China and Xi taking the lead or being defiant or actually having an active conflict against Western powers. I think we've I think even the West kind of knows that it's going to be Putin. And the reason I say that is because In the Pacific, you had what, like 200 Marines and things of that nature. And then the Ukraine, or supporting, see, they don't say the Ukraine, they say supporting. They're going to bring in 3,000 into Poland. So that's what we're seeing. You can clearly see the tactical movements based off of what those troop movements have, where they've been stationed at. So, what are we seeing now? Well, the fact that they said that they're going to mobilize reserves, to me, when you have to get to the mobilization of reserves, it just means everything's going to be drawn up. I don't believe that you'll have a full scale confrontation or even a kinetic action. To me, I don't think that that's going to be the case, because I'm going to tell you this. I witnessed this 21 years ago. I was in the middle of this 21 years ago. So what we see is a buildup. And this to me is a soft buildup, because in earnest, they want to make it soft. Because why? Because they don't want to disturb the markets. They can't. Because they know that that's really the only thing that they have that they can continue to have this thing prop up. And someone made a great point the other day. As soon as things go on, as soon as things are declared, look, supply chain logistics is done. You literally will have really a fight on the Atlantic in terms of what vessels will be going into Europe. Europe will be under a blockade, and they'll be sinking vessels left and right, civilian or otherwise. So when we see this, we could see that the path is now leading up to really the end. All of this while African leaders are beginning to wake up and they're beginning to speak out. They speak up about an issue, and the next thing you see is, well, China's our friend. It's the classic move of you can't bully us anymore, procedures or techniques. And I pray our people see that. But at the same time, they're giving up something too. They're cruising towards a new neo colonialism in China. And some countries do see that. And they'll speak up regardless. So that's always interesting to see that. So that's what I have. I'm going to open this on up, see what y'all's opinions are. I haven't really opened this up in a couple, ooh, since I went to Tanzania. So here we go, family. See what your thoughts and opinions are. I ask everyone to please be respectful. Please, we can speak on code. I pray that we can. If not, then I'll just have to remove you. That's just how simple it is. But I'll give you all a chance. Okay, come on. Sorry about that. Oh, they have all these new buttons, and there we go. All right, brother Rojo, shalom.
Shalom, shalom, brother Karis. Glad you're back home safely. I really am. I mean, I was worried about you, worried about all of y'all, really. I mean, being over there with the unrest that's going on over there. But with that being said, I always said this and I always stick to this. If we as black Americans can survive in the United States, we can survive white supremacy anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's certainly true. It's the fact of the matter that over on the continent they really don't know white supremacy like that because they haven't had they've had the exposure, but remember, they get exposed at different levels, right? Their white supremacy is seen at the top. Our rights, the white supremacy exposure, we're encompassed with it. You get what I'm saying? So, so when you
Yeah,
try,
yeah.
I mean, you get, the thing is that, all right, well, if you want a trade deal, then guess what? You need to do this, this, and this, and then you start to understand why they don't have those means or those that functionality to do the simplest work and the simplest task because those tasks have been told to them, hey, don't do it. That equipment technology is being said to them, no, we're going to, you know pump up the cost. So there's a barrier, a fiscal and a financial barrier
Well, me,
to
me
be.
and
Yeah,
oh,
go ahead.
okay. I'm sorry about that, brother. Me and Ninja Fire Wolf were having a conversation down there in the chat, and honestly, only because you have experience. Where I'll speak for me, I won't speak for Ninja Fire Wolf. I don't. I only know by what from what I talk to people that's been in the military. I mean, aside from what we already got going on with Quest to Unite Africa and everything else, what are you seeing, brother? I mean, is it something that we're not seeing or that's not being told to us, or what's going
Well, there's a lot of things that's not being told to you all. There's a lot of things that you won't see unless you've been exposed to it. And so there's a lot of messaging, right? In the actions. And when you see that messaging and you have to give kind of that grand sum, that grand total, right? And so the question would always be, well, if they're sending those reservists, then how many other reservists are they going to be sending? How many of the troops will they actually send? And for those that remembered, OIF, Operation Endure or Iraqi Freedom, how that buildup was. Some folks were sitting in the desert for a year, 6 months. And so now when we see all these things happening and they're now explaining it, it's not to calm fears. Oh, we're going to send 3,000 troops on over. That's going to be the 3,000 troops in addition to, because it's not a messaging. That wasn't a messaging strategy to the American people. It wasn't a messaging strategy. Well, it could be considered that to Russia potentially, but I believe it was a messaging strategy to the military, the armed forces, because during this time, they've been set, readiness.
Well, can I ask you a question? And I don't want to get removed, so that's why I'm going to be very, very, very subtle on the way I. Well, you can read the chat down there what I was saying. Am I wrong for saying that? I mean,
Oh, the chat has been very lively this morning. That's all I can say. They've been very lively, and that's okay. Look, that's okay. And here's the thing. Look, I knew what I signed up for. I knew all about the attacks that I was going to get. And that's okay. Because I know who my father is.
and you also know that we got your back too. I mean, 100%. I mean, especially me. I'll get out there. I mean, I'm going to shut up. But like I said, I'm to the point where I'm done talking. I mean, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Brother Rojo. Because we could go on with Joe Scott. We could go on with Palmer. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, these are good points, but these are points that happen. It's like this distraction piece is coming up when these folks are literally strategizing about the war campaign and the war effort. It's good distractions. And I think, to be honest, if that's their trump card, if that's that ace of spade that they have in their pocket, then they have to play it. There's just no other way about it. So that's what I look at. Brother Michael, shalom.
Hey, shalom, brother. How you doing, Karis? And brother Rojo?
Brother Michael, I
Mikhail, shalom.
listen, it's funny because for this whole couple of weeks, the enemy has really been beating me up and coming at me. And it makes no difference. It makes no difference if it's them folk or our people.
Yeah, I tell you,
So I
man.
have to laugh. So I just have to laugh. I think it's funny.
It's one that happened to us. I mean, you got people, man. It's fighting for their livelihood. This is the reason why a lot of stuff is going on. Whether they know it or not, when it's all over said and done, it's all about two people, two bloodlines. It's only go boil down to two bloodlines, and that's what it's getting down to. Getting down. It's down to that. Now you have a people who's been downtrodden, misused, abused, and these people want to come out of this predicament.
Yes.
But another people said, hey, we need to keep them down because that's where we get our money from. That's how we get our livelihood. This is where we get our line of thinking from. We feel higher than them. And yeah, they're gonna fight tooth and nail to maintain that. And whatever they gotta do, they're going to try their best to continue to do that. And so now you can understand why Yah said he is going to judge the nations. And so that's one of the things that I look at. And you're talking about the devil being busy, man. I mean, he right here pimp slapping me like I owe him some money. I'm telling you, man, you're talking about, you're getting it from the world, and then at the sad point of it, you get it from your brothers. And that's the thing that can just like knock you off your rocks. Yeah, man, I'm serious, because you be like, hey, how you doing, brother? How you doing, sister? And you know, and unfortunately, the scriptures got to be fulfilled. It's going to be your own enemy is going to come from your own house. So I try not to let it really truly get to me that deeply when a brother or sister crosses you, and things because it's been prophesied.
Oh yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
It's been prophesied. You know, and that's the thing. I think that like the brothers and sisters in the chat and everything, just looking at that, man, they writing paragraphs out there. Yeah, that right there just shows you how much frustration the brothers and sisters have, and how we've been mistreated. And if it's not us being mistreated personally, if we just see someone out there getting mistreated or hear about someone, it affects us. It really it messes with us. And it is. But I'm gonna say this, Karis. It was this. I'm gonna show you how black people were judged in a rightful way. I know some of your other brothers seen this video with this like 38-year-old man here in Chicago, and he told this black woman, they was in a restaurant, and he got mad at her. He said, "You say one more word, I swear to God, I'm gonna knock you out. I'm a so and so." And so this dude, he started pounding the sister. I mean, when I say you can hear him hitting her. So, but the news made it out that the mother conspired for her son to go get a gun and shoot him. No, that was not the case. That boy was standing right there while that man was hitting his mama. I mean, he was pounding his mother, and he shot him in the back and killed him. Now I'm gonna show you what black people do. You did not see a lot of black people comment on that. It's like, well, shoot, that's what happened. You reap what you sow, and that's how they look at it. Now, some people call that street justice, but no, it's that Bible that's in us that have us thinking in that manner. Another incident in Chicago on the South Side, this guy tried to rob this sister. There's a black guy, and the sister, she had a little pistol on her, and she shot him up under the arm of his left arm, and he ran away. But he died like not even a block, because he bled out. Mm-hmm. They interviewed a brother. They said, "Wait a minute, he robbed her? I mean, hey, that's what happens." And life just goes on. So now, when stuff is out of hand, like with the George Floyd, no, you go get black people. Black people, man, that was the time about the whole world stood up.
Hey, Mikhail.
Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
I won't be long, I promise. But just speaking of Chicago, and I know people may have their issues with camps or whatever, but the only thing I want to say is, none of it hit the news, not even a nanosecond of it. Y'all know who it is, the Purple and Gold. They were out there all week ripping stuff up in a good way. I salute those brothers. Nothing was said about that. But anyway, I'll go ahead and hand it back to you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, it just shows you that how we got a lot of God in us. We do. We just don't realize it. When I say realize, I'm talking about the ones that sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't realize it. But you know, when you can see a man dying right there in front of your face on a camera, and you got another guy with his hands in his pocket with his knee on his neck, that messes with you.
Mm-hmm.
That messes with anybody of color. And some individuals that are not of color, it messes with them also, but not the majority. And so we got to a point where we're not we kind of sort of tired, and I think we're calling out to Yah silently. But I think like when Yacoba did that prayer, was it earlier this year or was that last? When was that prayer?
It was
I forgot when.
it was last year. We did it on the on New Year's Eve.
You know what? I think we need to start doing it every 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Every 3 months. I mean, it seemed like it's just. I mean, they throwing out warning shots to us. They letting us know. You had the stuff in Mississippi. They want to bring back a Jim Crow law. They want to bring back tree hanging. That's some for you to get on TV and say that. That's bold.
Mm-hmm.
But they getting that way, bruh.
They already doing that, Mike. They already doing that. It's already legal.
Yeah.
What's legal? Huh? Tree hanging is legal?
Yeah, I think in it's still on the books. I think just at the federal level they had addressed it, but in states, especially here in the South, it's still on the books.
You know, for us to see we've seen the history of that stuff, and
yeah. I was gonna say that it's still on the books. It's a legal option. It's not outlawed for them. So Karis is exactly right. On the federal level, they're still fighting about it, but in the states, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, those 4 states I can name by name, you can look it up. It's still a legal option. In South Carolina, they're bringing back the firing squad. It's already legal on the books for South Carolina, North Carolina. It's one of those Carolinas. But yeah, brother Mikhail, it's they really are coming after us brothers and sisters hard.
And you know, they doing that, and then at the same time, man, you got these people over in Africa. They go out there and get them an NGO, non-for-profit organization, and then they go out there and they teach. Man, there was a video. Who's that? Go Black had that video, and I mean, man, that had me kind of heated, man. To have these people to go over there into these schools, having the boys wearing dresses, walking around like a little girl. And the girls are walking around with the pants in a manly demeanor. They really truly trying their best to wreck God's people, wreck them. I mean, now I mean, when I say they are over there, they there, and it's like this is their last ditch effort. Because they had one of the guys had a whole beard. He had a purple dress on, trying to know, hey, it's okay to be this way. It's okay to be that. And you know how we do. I mean, we stick to the scriptures, and it's not okay, you know. And this is what the scripture says, and this is what I mean. Outside of the scriptures and the nations, it was not written to you. It was written to this particular nation of people. But everybody can benefit from it. You know, this climate in which we live in, man, I would not be surprised. These people will start taking their dogs and going to the court and say, I want to marry my dog. I mean, I love this dog. You know, I mean, I just don't put nothing past the system no more. Anything can happen now. Anything. And this is what happens when you have a person that wants Yah's position. He wants to be a God Well, he a God and to a certain degree, but a true one, no, he can't. He can never have that. Yah said he would never
But
share his glory with no one.
give me a second, brother Michael, because I'll take heat
Talk to me,
for
brother.
me. I'll take heat for me all day long. I'll take heat for me all day long. I don't care. But what you're not going to do is take heat on our family. And you don't even understand what these brothers and sisters do in the background. Because what you're doing is that you're saying that, well, what we're doing at Quest Unite Africa, what we're doing this, I've been here for 2 years. Yes, you're absolutely right. Actually, 3. Believe it or not. You may have only known me for 2 years or known of me. But what have I always said? Pray about it. I ask nobody to have any type of personal feelings, but pray about it and let the Most High guide you. But now you want to attack our family, our brothers and sisters that are actually doing something. Mr. Jason Philip McCauley, what are you doing besides being a keyboard warrior? Where have you popped your face at in these Zoom meetings and Zoom collaboration meetings? I don't care if you attack me, but you trying to attack our people? No, I'm not going to block you. Exactly. And people see that you're sowing division. So you're looking like a fool. And fools do what? They fall right into their own trap. Okay, you pray and go by the word. Cool. And I knew exactly why that. I knew your assignment.
It's ridiculous, boy. I tell you.
Now, I almost cussed there because I've dealt with Jason Philip McCauley before, but if he's gonna be acting like this, I'm gonna just go ahead and put a word out on him across the whole Black Street. If he's gonna act like this, I mean, I am a patriot of a lot of people, so I'm just saying, including Yacoba, and I hate to put names out there, but I deal with a lot of people on the back channels, and if he's going to act like that, because that's messed up. Talking about Oral and talking about Mikhail and Betty, I mean, they've been in doing this work.
Bingo.
Man, you know what? Let me shut up because I'm gonna start talking crazy. You're gonna block me. Let me shut up. I'll mute.
I tell you.
But that's what happens. Look, I don't really worry about the Gentiles. It's our folks. And you see it right here.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right about that, man. You're right about that.
Do we not get everyone an opportunity to go onto the Zooms, the Teams? Well, we're going to do a settlement. No. Understand the mission that we're doing for Quest Unite Africa. And you don't even understand the mission. So that's your ignorance speaking on out.
Hey, Karis, let him on up here so he can talk to us, so he can be heard.
Okay, did I take the link down? Nope.
Yeah, he ain't gonna come up there. You know, good way he's not gonna. If he do, he gonna shock me. I mean, that's the thing, man. They sit back in the cut and then they make all these comments, but then just don't want to get up there because when brothers start getting into them, they start to look how silly. Well, they start making themselves look silly.
Bingo.
That's what usually happens. They start making themselves look silly, and they were like, "Man, I got on this platform and made myself look silly." Then they want to fall back. They most definitely will not come on here.
No, I don't like it. I don't like it because they're gonna sit there and hide in the comments, and there's a link because Karis said he did not take it down. Come up here, be heard.
The link is
Talk.
still pinned.
I mean, all you gotta do is come up here and talk to us. If I had an issue, I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna talk. And if I get put down or kicked out, that's fine. But I'm gonna make I go to Twitter Spaces all the time and get kicked out of them because I go in there talking my smack if I think that people are off code or whatever. Okay, Jason Philip McCauley, come on up here and talk to us. That's all you gotta do. I mean, you down there putting in messages and name dropping on people that are bosses. These people have been in this longer than probably you've been into this. Definitely longer than I've been into it, and they're putting in the work. They got channels up. They're giving up their jobs and putting up their money and going to do stuff. I mean, we all are. I'm damn near going broke sometimes to help out my people. What are you doing besides coming in here talking I'm talking smack? Let me mute. I'm sorry.
But
Yeah.
you know what? Listen. To be fair, I was letting him do whatever he was wanting. I didn't care, and I knew the attacks that he was doing against me. I didn't care. But when he tried to attack other people, and that was his comment, I posted that comment. All that does is just make him look stupid. It makes him look silly.
Hmm.
So this is what we've had to deal with. And guess what? No personal feelings is gonna stop the Most High's work. Brother Oral Shalom.
Shalom, brother Kara. Shalom, brother Mike. Shalom, Fast Nickel. Shalom, Rojo. Shalom, family out there. Folks, the attack's not going to stop us. The Mosai is allowed this to happen to bring me and these two brothers closer. So whatever they want to say or want to do is not going to stop the Mosai's work. We are committed to this work and we are here for the long haul. If it was easy, everybody would have been doing it. It's not easy. As Brother Kara said, he's taking on all these attacks left and right, up and down. And I got his back. I got Mike's back. Okay, these brothers, we've been on the continent together, okay, working
Hmm.
together. We went through the attacks, and I got to tell you, family, it was brutal. It was brutal. But
Yep,
the Most High has brought us through this, and I'm telling you, we are stronger than ever. And
absolutely.
Karis on the air around all of these, 200 people about, I have this man's back. Mike, I have his back because I know these brothers have my back. So you folks can say whatever you want to say. The fact is, we are moving forward. We are
And
breaking ground.
mhm. Hey, and Oral, I'm gonna read this what he said. If you,
Hmm.
Michael, and Oral are setting up the promised land, how does Yah get the credit? That would mean you, Michael, and Oral are Israel deliverers. Do you hear this dumb stuff?
Man, man, I was just here listening because I had some things that I was trying to get accomplished, and I was listening. And when I heard that, I was like, okay, let me come on here because I want to show that, first of all, we are united. Okay, us three brothers are united for this cause. Not to mention the hundreds of people behind us that you don't see that's doing the work.
Absolutely.
You know, but all praises always go to the Mosiah, not to me, not to Michael, not to Karis. Okay, we feel honored to be in the position to just help out and pave the way. But no, we are not trying to take any credit for anything.
Nope.
Not one red cent.
No, no, sir. It's just a love for our people that we have. That's what it is. You see, it's not just love for just our immediate family. Doing what we do, sometimes when I look in the future, I get overwhelmed, and I stop and I just say, let me just think about now. Let me process now. Okay, I came back from Africa and went straight to California the same day. I didn't do it for me. I did it for our people.
Hey, Oral,
Yes.
I gotta say this, brother, and I will put a name. I try not to name drop other groups or whatever on people's platforms, but I will put a name.
Mhm.
Everybody knows that IUIC has been in Chicago O Block for the past week doing their thing, and
Mhm.
one of the brothers came up. He did a video, and he said that he noticed that a lot of brothers, and he said it. He said brothers are coming on talking that cash money mess about this and that, how they should do something, but yet he noticed that they're not out there. So that's the one thing I'll say. You three are out there putting in the work. You got boots on the ground. You're doing stuff. You know, y'all are getting stuff done. None of us, and I put me in this. I put me in this. None of us are in any position to tell y'all what y'all should, how y'all should be doing something, what y'all ain't doing, what y'all are doing, or mocking y'all or trying to troll on y'all. None of us, and I say us, are in a position to do that if nobody is out there with boots on the ground putting in the work.
Rojo, I appreciate you always coming up and stepping up and having Karis's back and all our backs, man. Because you know something, the proof is in the pudding, and you not only do you talk, you actually show and prove. So we appreciate it. But folks don't know what Karis goes through, the heavy weight that he has to carry on a daily basis, the heavy weight on Mike's physical body being over on the continent all that time that he's been on there. Okay, I was in California getting doors slammed in my face. People telling people trying to get rid of me. Okay, for my people, because I want to see this work so badly. But all praises and all credit goes to the Most High, not to me, not to Kareth, not to Mike. So I just want to make that very clear when he's going to make comments like that. This is not about us. It's about our people, and all glory goes to our Heavenly Father.
Jason must be a Christian.
He's something, but the Christians, they always write about everything.
And be the
They
first
never
one
do
to
it.
argue.
Yeah, they never do any study and any real deep study or real deep research. They just go by what the pastor says, and it's got to be right because the pastor says it's right.
Mm. Hey, y'all, I'm gonna put you all on hold just for a moment. I need to walk into this store real quick. I'll be right back.
All right, brother.
Well, I look at it like this. If you've ever been on my channel, I'm not here for praise. I'm here for obedience. I'm here because the Most High has me here. I could easily not be here. I could easily have just said, you want to know what? Thanks, Brother Oral. Thank you, Brother Mike. But let me get my LinkedIn profile up and going. Let me get my resume up and moving because you want to know what? I'm just going to go and continue to work in this world. But if you had been on this channel and understood what was going on, you would have seen what brought us together and how the Most High Himself has caused these things to happen.
Okay, Jason. I'm sorry, brother Karras. Okay, Jason Philip McCauley. You say you quote scripture, but then why are you coming up here berating other brothers and sisters? Why are you coming up here putting false labels on them? I mean, if you quote scripture, I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not going to come up here and bear false witness on any of my brothers and sisters. I admit, Karras, I might be guilty of doing that every now and then on the Gentile, but I'm not going to do that on my own brothers and sisters. So what you mean you quote scripture? Now you coming up here sowing discord, bruh. You need to go ahead and change your ways or come up here and talk to people directly.
As Mr. Williams said, faith without works are dead. And you see, people want to just quote scriptures and they want to have faith, but they don't want to put in the work. You see, what we're actually doing is we are putting in the work. It is much easier for Karis or myself to just go get a regular 9 to 5 and hey, make tons of money. But what work are we putting in for our people?
Believe you me, I've had the same question with Mike and Oral. I've had the same question. Should I just go ahead, just get me a job, and just do what I need to do? But I do what the Most High needs me to do, and I keep it moving. That's why I said, look, in this chat, this from the moment that this live stream was happening, I just glossed over it and I just said, thank you, Father, for the attacks. Because every single thing that we do is always going to be an attack. Nobody wants to come on up here just to be attacked. Who in their right mind wants to do that? Man, forget this. I'm done. That's what most people will say.
Yeah.
I see you quoting that Jason Philip McCauley. Come on up here and be heard. I mean, you're
What
quoting
did
stuff.
Here's the funny thing. So he says all that, but guess what? You don't ever go onto our Zoom meetings. So explain that one.
But you know something, Brother Karras, Brother Rojo, let's stop giving this man all this energy and this power because it's like it seems like it's an attention thing.
Well,
So let's just focus on something else.
it is, but let me tell you this. It is, but let me tell you this. He can easily go on questuniteafrica.org. We've
Yep.
done that for the last, month or two?
3 months going on 4.
Yeah, so my question is, then where have you been all this time?
Yep, exactly.
So, we don't tell everything. Not on these channels, not on these platforms.
Oral, brother Oral. I'm pretty sure y'all know who. I know you do, Karras, but y'all know who the Black Authority is, Jason Black, right?
Mhm.
He made a comment, and I gotta respect him for what he said. He said that if he didn't care about his people, he could easily show his face with his Ayatollah beard and his glasses and go and really make some serious money doing something else. But he takes the pay cut and takes the vitriol because he cares for his people. Karras is in the same boat. Karras could be doing something else. Karras is military. Karras has, he's tech savvy. He has tech experience. Karras could probably be out there upper management somewhere, making 6 figures or close to it. But yet he's, giving all that up, making a hell of a sacrifice to come here and do stuff, for the people. So if for no other reason, people need to shut their mouths and at least respect that.
Let me tell you something. And Karras is not maybe 6 figure. Karras is above and over 6 figure. The brother's knowledge is like a black hole. Okay, he knows about everything. The brother, and I am gonna toot his horn for him
Well,
because
well, stop putting me on the spot here.
no,
'Cause honestly,
no,
I don't like.
seriously.
I don't.
No, but these
Personally
couple of
speaking,
months. No, I know what you're
personally
saying, but
speaking,
these
I
couple.
don't like.
I know what you're
I'm a
saying, brother.
person. I don't
But
like. I don't like the accolades and stuff like that. I'm not an accolade person.
I know
That
you're
to
not,
me is
brother.
that
But
to me is
people got to realize. But people got to realize what you're sacrificing here. Where you could be somewhere making a heck of a lot more money, but you're choosing to stick this out with us. And so it's not something where you need this and you need the attention. This, like you said, comes with a lot of heat.
So you can well, one thing I can say, you can only imagine. No, you don't have to imagine now. You know how Solomon felt. You know how Moses felt. These are our people that are
Let,
causing this stress.
thank
Go
you.
ahead. I'm sorry.
Now, brother Jason, you know that I have a history, and you said that. No, you said that. But look, I give him the respect, and I know that he just attacks. He attacks me, and that's okay because I can handle the attacks. I'm built for this. But when you start to attack other family, then that's the problem. And that's what we have to understand, family. This war is a war. And if you don't know anything about warfare, then guess what? Everyone can be a spy. and you test the fruit, their spirit. Everybody's spirit has a fruit. If my fruit was sour, then guess what? I'd have no views. I'd have no subscribers. Question you, Waves? What would that be?
Mm.
I came on in here because you want to know why? Because the Most High threw me here. And you don't see what I go through in the background with my own family. You don't see what the struggles I have with our people a lot of the time.
They don't know the stress we got behind. All they know is QTUA. They don't
No,
know
no,
the stuff that we got to do behind it.
Mikhail, it's okay. It's okay. I got his name. I'm gonna go ahead and pin this chat, and I'm gonna go ahead and drop it to Yakoba. I mean, because Brother Karras, he's not trying to debate anyone. Brother Karras is trying to get the work done. And I'm not saying that Yakoba is trying to debate anyone. I'm not saying he's on that kind of time. But Brother Yakoba will make time for, jack behinds like that. And I think he needs. I think this Jason Philip McCauley needs to be called out. He needs to be. We went through a situation with a Gentile like this not even 2 years ago, and then we're getting this from a brother, from someone inside the family. I mean, I'm sick and tired of this mess.
But here's
We're in a war. Go ahead,
but
brother.
what I was gonna say is we've given him too much time and too much energy right now. I
Yeah.
think we've said all we need to say. We should just move on from this.
Yeah, yes, that's a good point, because we got big and better things to be concerning ourselves with.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
I mean, we trying to get things together. We seeing what's going on in the world, and then we got to look at a lot of this stuff. It's nothing but a distraction to throw you off your game.
Exactly. And so it's time for us to move on from this distraction. And a matter of fact, you two brothers, I need to talk to you after we finish the live about something that's going on over there in Tanzania. So.
Okay.
Brother Karras, may I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, brother Fast Nickel. I'm sorry I skipped over you. Go ahead.
No problem. So the other brothers may or may not know, because I don't know if you shared, but I didn't know about what you guys are talking about now. And if Brother Karras wants to talk about it, but I had a dream, I guess it was 2 days ago, and the Most High told me this in the dream about Q2UA, and I shared it with Brother Karras. So to me, that just is more confirmation that this is of the Most High, and people are going to come for you.
Fast Nickel, why you just telling
Repeat
Karras,
that
bro?
again, brother Fast Nickel, for folks in the back.
Is it something that you could share with us, because I wasn't aware of the dream, Fast Nickel?
Sure.
Repeat that
So
again.
I had a dream. I guess it was Monday or Tuesday. And I texted it to Brother Karras. So basically, in the dream, the Most High, I can't remember the dream exactly, but basically when I woke up, what the Lord showed me or told me is that the dream itself wasn't important, but the message. And the message was to be careful who you discuss and deal with, because there's a target on your back. People are coming for you. They don't want to see this happen. And that's what the Most High showed me about and specifically it was about Quest to Unite Africa. Like somebody said, so in the dream, somebody mentioned Quest to Unite Africa, and when they said it, my eyes perked up, and I wanted to comment, but I didn't. And then that's when God revealed, said, "Hey, don't just discuss it with anybody and everybody, because there are people that don't want to see this happen."
Wow.
Okay. Now you see why I put in the chat that people better start keeping their candy bars with them. I mean, if you like Kit Kat, Snickers, Milky Way, Hershey's, keep your candy bar close by. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's all. I'm just saying.
Well, you know what? What you're saying, brother Fast Nickel. When the brothers on the continent, they said nothing like this has ever been done before.
Exactly.
And they saying, hey, this sounds good. This is what the brothers on the continent is saying. And then I talk to individuals here, and they say the same thing. Hey, and it sounds simple. If you really truly look at it, it is simple things to put together. But you got to ask yourself, why hasn't anyone who has more power than Karis, more power than Oral, more power than myself, who has the money to put an organization together, why hasn't that happened thus far or
'Cause
prior to this?
it wasn't the Most High's will.
There you go. And he,
Well, also, and you know that anytime anything like this has happened, the powers that be will shut it down. Just like, I don't know if you saw the news, I think came out on Monday, that the people of Black Wall Street were trying to get, I'll call it reparations for what happened to them 100 years ago. And the judge, initially the judge was going to rule in their favor, and now she didn't. And somebody was saying that somebody got into her ear and told her, you better not let this go through, because if it does, it has ramifications worldwide.
Hey, family. Can I put this out there? I want to drop another name. We need to pray for this sister. Her name is Misha Maynard. I just, when I get into politics, I just mainly go there to troll, because I don't get too deeply involved. I just mess with it because of the knowledge, because I do want to be politically savvy, which we all should be. But anyway, with that being said, she was a representative in the Democratic Party. She literally exposed, and when I say exposed, she literally stripped the dress and the slip and the panties off of the Democratic Party to let us know how they really feel about us. And she went to the Republican Party, which to me is not much better. But she has a target on her back, and I think we should pray that the Most High puts a hedge of protection around that sister, because she really did make a big sacrifice to come out for her people, and I gotta bow to that and acknowledge that.
well, there's a lot of brothers and sisters, man, and whether they woke up or not, they are speaking about some things, and just like with Sister Jill Scott, what she did with the national anthem, that affected a lot of us, because we're about the only ones who can understand what she was saying. And we're like the only ones that can really truly understand and feel what she was saying. The rest of the nations cannot do that. Only thing they can say, hey, what is the only thing they can do is really truly get mad.
Yeah, and looking at it as some kind of disrespect, not thinking about the people who have been disrespected for over 400 years.
Yeah, I mean, and it is what it is. And they was like, well, y'all need to learn to get over it. Well, that's easy to say, ain't it?
They
Y'all
won't.
need to learn.
If that was them, they would never get over it.
No.
And they would tell you, they would give you the reasons of why they should never get over it, why it's this and why it's that. But when it comes to us, that is literally Zechariah 11:5 in action. And we have to, and that's the scriptural perspective, right? That's what they've said.
He who killeth his slave and hold himself not guilty, but says, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. Yeah, you're exactly right, Brother Karis.
We got a lot, man.
That's what they feel. That's what they think. Look, these are victuals. The Most High gave these people into our hands, so they have no right to speak out against us. And now we're saying, no, we're the people. We know who we are. We know who our Father is. And we're calling you out regarding how you've been treating us. You need to stop, because if not, you're going into a judgment that is going to be far worse than anything that you have done to us. And that's what the scripture says. They're going to be led into a captivity which will be far worse
than what we went through.
It's hard to imagine anything being worse than what we've gone through and what we continue to go through.
No, look about that movie Edge of Tomorrow, right? They just die and continually come back. They just died.
Yeah.
Come back, right? You know what I'm saying?
And you
Yeah.
see, Karis, that's the thing. That's the thing. I was having a discussion with some brothers about Carolyn Bryant, and they were like, "She's gonna knock a hole in hell," if I may say that word. And what I said, here's what I said, and this is my hope. I won't even say this is my opinion. This is my hope. I said that no, where Carolyn Bryant is headed to, she will wish that there was a hell that existed. She will wish that there was a Dauntless, even the worst form of Dauntless, which I know you know, Karis, what Dauntless is, and I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure some of you other brothers know what that is as well. But she will wish that existed for what for what she's facing. So my thing is, we just need to stay vigilant. We need to have each other's backs. And I'm not saying we need to box out all the Gentiles because unfortunately, with the way some of us within the family tend to behave, perfect example, Jason Philip McCauley, I'm pretty sure that there's a Gentile counterpart that is down 10 toes in the dirt with us as much as, you three are for us, so we just need to really just use discernment, and pick our battles. And like I say, keep your candy bars with you. I can't stress that enough.
You know,
Yeah, we hear you, brother.
Well,
yeah,
when it comes to white supremacists, even if they agree with a point that a person of color makes, they're not going to side with us. They're always going to take the side of their white supremacist counterpart. And people of color, we're already, literally in the minority. So we need to band together, not cause more division.
Exactly. That is so true. That is such a truthful statement, Brother Fast Nickel. And that's the thing in the past. We so easily splintered and just go our separate ways. We pout and we pick up our toys and we leave the playground. No, no, we gotta learn how to work things out, talk about it, and move on and forgive, fully forgive, not forgive and have grudge in the back of your heart or in the back of your mind, because that's the only way we're gonna move forward is together.
And it all started by putting the lighter skinned slaves
yeah.
in the
Hmm.
house and the darker skins out in the field.
The Willie
Yeah.
Lynch letters, man, it's still affecting us until this day.
Oh, they use that in the political realm. Um, that's part of their breakfast. I mean, they got to keep the Willie Lynch theory thing going. But now you seeing, but this is the problem with that. They seeing these two sticks binding together, which something they cannot stop. Now, he just had to have somebody thing going on. All right, yeah, and they I mean, history is moving right as we speak.
Right in front of our eyes, man.
Right in front of our eyes. And see, and then you got some individual that think that, hey, uh, God is going to do this, God is going to do that. He is, and he gonna use his people to do it. Now,
Yes.
when it comes to pardon waters, let me. He know exactly when he need to step in. You may have a sister. Let's just say one of us may be thoroughly depressed, and this sister, she just called and give you some encouragement because she's just thinking about you. Y'all can use that person to encourage you, and he
Yes.
used that sister now. And at the same time, he gets the glory. And see, this
Hey,
is what
Mick,
I'm gonna go. I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
hey, Mick, okay, can I read something really quickly? And it's
Go ahead,
regarding the
brother.
rich people. And then, okay, and I'll drop it right back down to y'all. Okay, James chapter 5. And now I'm just going to read the whole modified version of it. Now, listen, you rich people, weep and wail because of the misery that is coming on you. Your wealth has rotted, and moths have eaten your clothes. Your gold and silver are corroded. The corrosion will testify against you and eat your flesh like fire. You have hoarded wealth in the last days. Look, the wages you failed to pay the workers who moved your fields are crying against you. The cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord, of the Most High. I'm sorry, Almighty. You have lived on earth in luxury or deliciously in self-indulgence. You have flattened yourselves in the day of slaughter. You have condemned and murdered the innocent one who was not opposing you. And I want that to burn into these fools. And I do use the word fools pointedly and directly at them, because I want them to think about what they just heard. If there are any Gentile heathen trolls in here that wants to try to decry us.
And here's the thing: people have to realize being for black doesn't mean that you're anti any other race. Okay, and this is the thing that we've always been like scrutinized as being we're pro-black. Pro-black doesn't mean that you're anti-white or any other race. Okay, being for your people, everybody's for their people. Right? Like if you have a child and the child is in a predicament where they need to be rescued in the water, and there's another child, you're not going to rescue the other child first. You're going to rescue your child first. So being for us doesn't mean that we're against other people. And they have to stop this pro-black thing because it makes it seem like we're against every other race and we're not.
I take that in a different way.
It said the Bible says family first.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what it is, I think people, the world has put up on the word black, and they got the word black as always with something evil.
Yeah, or negative.
That's, because I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm pro-Negro, and I know no Negroes are black.
But exactly, but that's not it, and that's nothing wrong with you being pro-Negro. But the world make it seem as if when someone is pro for their family, they're against everybody else, and it's not the case.
Or I gotta tell all y'all this, just so y'all can know me, so y'all can know Rojo. I love my people first. I don't hate any other people. I mean, yes, the Gentile can come into my fold. I will welcome them if they, if they on some right stuff. But I love my people first. When I say be one, I live it. I'm about my people first. So if I have one chicken wing and I'm full, I done ate the whole chicken. I have that chicken wing or that drumstick left. If a brother or a sister is hungry, they're gonna get it first. If they want to share it with a Gentile, that's on them. But I'm gonna look out for my people first. I don't hate anyone unless they hate me. I hate white supremacists because they hate me. But I love my people first, above anything else. So that's just me. I love my people first.
You know what? When it's all over said and done, what we're doing in this particular generation, in this particular time, we're doing something that no other generation of people has ever done. When Yah was telling the Israelites, hey, look here, I'm your God, I'm your so-and-so, I'm this here. But Israel kept on looking at all the other nations, seeing what they was doing. We want a king. All right, they want a king. And everything what Yah kept telling them, I'm your God, I'm your creator. You do this and do that, obey this here, you go get this blessing, you go get that blessing. And now here we are in this particular generation. We're saying, no, we don't want to be a part of that nation. We don't want to be part of that nation. We're doing things that our forefathers did not do. They did not do this. They just kept going on until eventually got so bad to y'all say, hey, Jerusalem will be destroyed. Now here we are coming together over electronic lines and things of that nature, coming together and trying our best to get along in love as a family, period. Yeah. That has never been done before. We're looking at the nation. Yah said, these nations that that you was out here longing for, they will hate you to their bones. And they hate us. We're the most hated people on this planet. We're even hated by our own brothers and sisters.
Hey, Mikhail, let me address Eric Tinsley really quickly. And it's not to come at him or anything because I love that brother. But Eric Tinsley, I just have to be fair about stuff. And I see what you're saying, brother, but I have to be fair about something. I mean, Gentiles do look after us. Look at the 1968 Olympics. when that Australian lent those two brothers his gloves so they can, throw up the Black Power fist. He knew what they were going to do. He went ahead and did that for them. Look at what happened during the Mississippi burning when those two white dudes, took a bullet for us. So there are good Gentiles that we should, concern ourselves with, as long as they show that they're down 10 toes, for us. And I get what you're saying. We need to focus on us, and I say we need to focus on us first. But there are righteous Gentiles that will get out there and shed blood for us. So I land there.
Well,
I mean,
it's.
yeah.
I think
I'm
people
sorry.
also have to understand this is a spiritual matter.
It is.
A spiritual component. Now we look at the physical because that's all we see, but there's a spiritual element that's there. You're looking at a spiritual element of a spiritual ancient hatred. The same,
Perpetual.
exactly the same hatred that you had in Babylon the first time of our people. The more
Hmm.
time that has elapsed with this principality, the more hatred that they've had on us. And this isn't our first run in with these people. We've been in this spiritual continuum with them for a while. Now, this is the very first time that we're beginning to be decoupled. And that decoupling is really what they hate because now they start to see their fall in the coupling. It's a spiritual matter. It's a spiritual component. You're not fighting against flesh and blood.
Nope.
That's why I always have to tell people you're not fighting against flesh and blood because you may have the most cordial conversation with a Gentile, but then you have to remember something will well up in them spiritually because why? Because they're still attached to the spiritual matrix. That's how that goes. We still have our own brothers and sisters still attached to the spiritual matrix.
Well, Brother Karras, I tell people the spiritual aspect all the time, and what people don't realize is that Satan already knows that he's doomed for the pit, and he needs to do anything he can to destroy God's people because he needs to make God a liar to prevent himself and the other angels from going to the pit.
Hmm.
If he can call God's word a lie, that's the only way he can get out of this. So he is going to do everything he can to continue to place havoc on God's people until God steps in and says enough.
Yeah, absolutely, Fast Nickel, and I do agree with brother Eric. It's because don't don't get confused. This is very multi-dimensional. We do need to focus on us. At the same time, we do have all these spiritual forces and influence. These influences that's happening all around us, and that is at a fever pitch because why? Because they're literally fighting over us.
Exactly.
But what we have to do as a people is that we have to heal amongst ourselves
Yes.
and then ask the Most High to rescue us. We
Yes.
haven't even done that. Has
Yes.
that even happened yet?
No.
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 You know what's
There's
funny?
there's things that yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what's funny, and this just came to me a day or two ago, is that when you see everything that's going on, people will say, okay, then why don't you black people just go do your own thing? The problem is we would do our own thing, but they don't want us to do our own thing. And I related to Laman, to Jacob's father-in-law. He knew the power that Jacob's God had with Jacob. So he did everything he can to keep him in his control because he knew that by doing so, he would also get the blessing.
Yeah, we're always supplunked on every side when we try to do our own thing.
Hey,
Yes.
look, Fast Nickel and Oral. Look here. Um, what I'm saying is, and it works. We need what we need to do is quit worrying about what other people think of us. And I'm with Eric. I'm with you, Karis. We do need to love ourselves. Let's love ourselves first. I mean, we're up there, and then those who are righteous within the Gentiles or whatever, they will come to us. So, I mean, I'm not, trying to say, let's do, because I hate, Karis, you know me. I hate intersectionality. I hate, you know, blending us in with other people. I'm against that. All I'm saying is that we need to love each other and we need to demonstrate that. And again, I'm not trying to put nobody's name out there, but if people are serious, on September 1st, they have a 100 million black woman show up for you. I mean, on the internet, 100 million. That's the goal. So if we're serious about that, we could do stuff on the ground. If people are afraid to get off of the internet streets, well, then show your support by going on the streets. Again, I'm not into politics, but there's this brother named Dr. Malcolm Tanner. Let's show up 100 million strong for him. I'm not going to vote. I'm 51 years old. I've never voted in my life, and nor do I ever intend to vote because righteousness does not choose the lesser of two evils. Righteousness chooses justice. So, with that being said, we can still show up for this brother just to show that the black street, that Israel have clout, that we have juice, and I'll land there.
All right,
Right.
brother.
Thank you, brother Rojo. Go ahead, brother Orr.
No, I was just saying. I hear. I was just saying. I hear what you said, brother. That's all I was gonna really say. Brother Karras, it's nice hearing your voice and nice chatting with you. Uh, I know sometimes I don't come on here, but I'm always listening in the background, brother. And it's good to just have unity amongst us, man, because you know the fight that we went through over there on the continent, man. But it's good to just be here, just having a conversation with you like old times, man.
But you see what I'm saying though? I'm not
Yeah,
gonna let anybody mess with my family.
yeah, I hear you, man, and
And
I
what I'm telling
appreciate
you,
you. I appreciate
brothers,
you going to bat for us, man.
look, when brothers have fights, but brothers know how to do what? They know how to come back from the fight
Yeah,
and continue to love one another, work
yeah,
with one another, understand one another. This is something we haven't done in 400 years.
yeah.
We're trying to get things together on top of just being able to start to have a firm foundation with our brothers and sisters on the continent. And that means an actual interaction. No, we're not building settlements. We're building roads, infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
economic development. Because why? If you can actually build something that everybody can utilize, then that's a great thing. Building a road, as simple as it sounds, because we've been used to the simplicity here in the US, in the diaspora. That's one of their hardest things to do. Getting reflective road paint so people can actually see what's on the streets, making sure that there's easement so people aren't just sitting in the middle of the streets as cars are doing 70, 80 miles an hour down the road, not paying attention, run a embankment and then kill 10, 15 people. These are the things that we have taken for granted out here because really it's easy street. This is easy street. How many people, when they woke up this morning to brush their teeth, they actually used the water coming out the faucet? I'm sure 95% of us were able to do that. without having to utilize a plastic bottle or bottled water. This is
That's
what
the
we're trying. Go
that's
ahead.
that's because we're Israelites, we're Hebrews, we're not no dang hairy simian apes who don't know anything but to spit on themselves and call themselves washing themselves off like that. We're actually
Well,
civilized.
well, I think you misinterpreted the point because here's the thing. Over on the continent, you have to utilize bottled water
That's for
in order
sure.
to wash, in order to brush your teeth.
Oh no, I was referring to white people, Karis.
Yeah, you missed the point. That's what I said. You missed
Oh,
the point.
okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my bad.
Shout out to Brother Rojo. He did miss the point.
Yeah, but I know
And
exactly
let
what
me
you're
tell you
talking
this.
about.
And let me tell you this. And let me tell you this. The white folks that are out there on the continent, they have clean water going into their taps. The white folks on the continent, they have settlements to where they're self-sustained communities. The white folks on the continent, they bring into their villages. This is what they have. They have villages, and they control their construction equipment. They build up their roads. They have their self-functioning cities. Yeah, they may have a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mile dirt road that takes them out into the middle of nowhere. But guess what? They're on out there and they're self-sustained.
So you seen this, Karis, where white folks got that and brothers and sisters don't have that? I mean, I know in other parts of Africa it's like that, but in Tanzania, it's like that there.
This is all over Africa.
All
Oh,
over
okay,
Africa, brother.
okay, I feel you. I feel you. Okay.
Yeah. Things that we don't really know. That is all over Africa. And what we're trying to do, we're not trying to do anything special.
Nope.
Bring over equipment, bring over medical supplies. Help our brothers and sisters to get to the hospitals. Help our brothers and sisters to have roads for cars and ambulances to get there. You want to know what's crazy? They don't really even have a postal system.
Nope.
Get an address. Ask for an address. Ask to ship something. Ask to ship something. Your package will not make it next day air. Your package will not make it in a time sensitive manner. We get mad when next day air turns into we get it delivered after 3 p.m. Let's not kid ourselves. We get mad if the Amazon doesn't deliver within 4 hours.
I'm guilty of that.
They should have known my address. It's that easy. On this road. They did not have GPS. Here's the thing, Billy. They don't have GPS.
No. You remember that? You remember that? You remember that 4 hour trek to Sister Judy?
Brother Oral was hot. He said, "Man, I'm burning up in the store for the carrots. I'm burning up." He was hot.
Well, Karis, when I get over there, when we all get over there, I'm going to humbly come to you and ask you for a job. I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness! But you know, these are the things we take for granted.
Yes, we do.
And it's hard. It's hard. Well, look, it's like, well, I ordered this. I guess I'm not going to get it for about a week. Yeah. There's no fast nothing.
But you know something, Brother Karis? That right there, that 4 hour plus trek when we were trying to find Sister Judy, that really gave me perspective. I was annoyed and I was upset, but afterwards, when I stop and think about how much we take for granted over here and how much we need to build up over there, So it gave me two visions of what things need of me taking things for granted over here and how much work we have to do over there.
Hey, or all I gotta say to you, Oral, is I've I've just been hearing different stories, and I know that the air was clean out there, and it was crisp.
Oh, it's
So
beautiful.
I mean, it may have been hot. I mean, I don't like hot. I like brisk
Nah,
or mild.
no,
But
it wasn't hot. It's not hot like you think it's hot. Nah,
No,
it's
it's
not
oh, it's
hot
not.
like
not.
that now.
Oh,
Nah, no,
No.
it's not that Florida. It's not that Florida humidity hot because if you go in the shade, you get a nice cool breeze. And let me tell you, I got a chance to step in that ocean, and it's the best thing ever. I promised myself I was gonna at least step my foot in there. I didn't get a chance to go swim, but I stepped my foot in the ocean, and it was the best thing ever, man.
well, or don't worry, you can venture deep into the ocean. Just watch out for the riptides, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you, the wildlife, even in the ocean, they're not after brothers and sisters. They're after them folks. So I mean, I know nobody wants to hear that, but they're the ones that's in danger,
I'm
not
not
us.
going. I'm not going to lie. I really haven't seen a shark attack that's a shark has chewed up a black person. Is that?
No, it doesn't. It
I
don't
haven't seen
happen.
it.
It don't happen. It just doesn't
I'm
happen.
still. I'm still trying to find the statistics. They're
No,
not going to give us
man.
no statistics on that one.
Well, and
Hey,
also,
hey,
and also, Rojo, just being in Florida, let me tell you, Florida is the riptide king of everywhere. And if I could deal with like New Smyrna riptides, I could deal with Africa riptides because it's not as bad.
hey, wait, hold on. Speaking of Florida, I've been seeing and hearing a lot of stuff. I need brothers like you and Karis to confirm: is Florida really emptying out?
No,
No, and I don't think so. People are moving here by droves, man.
we are.
Who these reptiles, these
I,
great
I
people?
can't. I can't say. I don't know if they're great people or reptiles. I just know people move here. It's like I forgot what the statistic is, but people move to Florida in droves because Florida has so much amenities here, and you have the good weather, and you have the tax breaks, and you have the good roads and things of that nature, and so people move here in droves, man. To be honest with you.
Mhm.
Okay, so all that stuff that Ron DeSantis stuff really ain't having no effect like the some of these fear mongers are trying to project.
Yeah,
And,
because it's. I don't know if it's their community, that's being affected, but yeah, just as Brother Oil has said, you're not seeing that. You're really not
no.
seeing that.
Okay, so that y'all just told me what I need to know. If I moved out of Florida, I need to go to the ghetto and not to these wannabe other mixed or affluent areas. Not that I can afford that, but thank y'all. That's all I need to know. So when I go down there, I know exactly what areas I'm going to.
Michael, I'm in Florida also, and yeah, although the reports say that I have not seen it either.
No. People are coming here in droves, man. It's so funny because I'm in like Lake County, and it's Brother Karis that pointed it out. I was just telling who was I telling? Someone yesterday that Karis was in. It's like, man, there's so much traffic, and it's so funny how it snuck up on me because with the area where I used to live, during the day, the roads would be open, and Karis came over by me and it's like, man, it's a lot of traffic. And then I thought to myself, wait a second, it never used to be like this. So I can't see it in my area because if anything, my area is getting busier because even during the day, on a non-school day, it's still traffic. It moves, so don't get me wrong. It's not like stagnant traffic. It's just a high volume of vehicles on the road that never used to be even 2 years ago.
Yeah, so Oral is literally like by the villages, and the villages is just south of Ocala. Ocala is kind of in the middle of the state.
Mm-hmm.
Toward you have I-75. It's about an hour and a half north of me, but that's where everybody is. Everybody from the Northeast, basically, a lot of retirees.
Mm-hmm.
They're moving down, and they're moving down in droves. And the crazy thing is, they're moving down in such droves that they have a federal prison complex, and they built up next to the federal prison complex.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's like they're just building and expanding the whole villages area, like just vastly. It's like all you see is construction equipment and construction up there.
Well, I'm gonna
Because
tell
that,
you what. I'm gonna tell you where I won't go if I go to Florida. I won't go to Orange County. I do not want to wind up like Ving Rhames in Pulp Fiction, and I'll leave it there.
you watch a lot of TV,
I don't know.
Rojo.
I thought that was in California.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
wasn't on.
I'm in Orange County, and I have this. It's okay for me.
Yeah, Orange. I don't know. I prefer Lake County because it's more laid back. It's more country. I'm tired of the fast paced life, so that's why I live in Lake County.
Yeah.
You know what? I think everybody on the panel will agree. I've talked to people about coming to Florida, and the first thing, and these are people that I'm gonna say are liberals because they live in liberal states. The first thing they'll say is, "I wouldn't come to Florida because of your governor," right? And the truth is, I'm not telling you he's a great guy, he's a bad guy. You know, he is who he is. But the
Hmm.
truth is, perception is reality. And so they do such a great job of putting that narrative out there in the media that it's so hard to, just like when you look at this brother Majors, who's going through all this scrutiny with this woman, even though this white woman, even though they're showing all this evidence of how he's innocent, but as long as the media keeps bringing him down or bringing up stuff about him, it's so hard to overcome.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Public perception. You know, once you leak something, it doesn't matter. It
It doesn't
doesn't matter.
matter.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's what you're. That's what we're fighting against. Look, our public perception. It doesn't matter. Oh, you're an Israelite. Well, I heard Israelites are bad. I heard they're bad people. Right. What do you know about the history? What do you know about the facts? Well, they don't care about facts. If people cared about facts, then guess what? People more would be more appalled that they're supporting a Nazi regime in Ukraine. Just as facts.
Exactly.
That's
And
just facts.
like you just said, if you ask them those questions, they'll say, "I don't know," but they'll say, "I don't know," but all I know is they're bad people. And these are the same people that are gonna fall for the lie and take the mark.
They're gonna say, "I feel." It's like they don't go by facts; they go by feelings. I feel that he's a bad person. I feel that this is wrong. They don't go by facts, and your feelings are gonna betray you a lot of times.
Hey,
All the
hey,
time.
look,
Your heart always will. Yeah, don't go by your heart.
the only thing I'll say is that going down there in Florida, I would probably feel more comfortable going down to Karis's neck of the woods, only because it's a quicker escape route as opposed to going to Central Florida or way down there in Miami. Like, where's there to go, especially down there in Miami? What, the Keys, Puerto Rico, Cuba? I mean, at least up there in Tampa, you can escape to Alabama, back up here to Tennessee or Georgia or something. So, like I said, I think for Negroes, for blacks, I think Tampa, or at least that panhandle area, is the place to be.
Oh yeah, look. I told you my escape plan is I'm gonna run on down to Busch Gardens real quick, get me a couple inner tubes from Adventure Island, put a blue tarp on that sucker, and I'm good. I just need to paddle my way to just take that Florida current, and then paddle right through the straits and hit Cuba real quick.
And
Talk
me,
about talk
me,
about one line.
me, I'm gonna get to, this little executive airport. Meet up with Karis, family member. Grab my family member and take that little piston engine crop duster out of there. That's my escape plan.
Yeah, look, I'm just gonna be inner tubing, 4 days, 4 nights. Just get me enough water, right? Just get me a couple things of Publix water. I'll be all right.
Publix. I mean, we have Publix up here. You want to buy some Publix water? You might as well buy you some dang Dom Perignon champagne. with those Publix prices.
Well, when they have those BOGOs, you can get some pretty good deals sometimes with the BOGOs, though.
Hey, hold on, wait a minute. I'm gonna tell you, I've experienced it personally with Publix. They don't honor their BOGOs. Like I think they like do like 3 to 5 BOGOs at the most. But if you get a basket full of BOGOs, they're gonna start putting stuff back. And
Oh no, no, no! I don't know. The ones down here, the ones down there, they honor it. Then they honor it. The Publix down here.
I think we're too close to the headquarters, so they don't want to be having.
Yeah, exactly.
These white folks here in Florida are off the chain. I'm gonna tell you,
Yeah.
they go up right
Yeah.
there at the Publix Executive Parkway.
Yes,
They're
they will.
Hey, hold on. But let me tell you something about Publix. I mean, as far as grocery stores, I have not been inside of a better deli than what Publix has.
I have to agree with you on that, man. And they have
their deli is all now. Kroger's is close or close-ish, kind of. But
nah, man, nothing beats Publix, and they'll make exactly what you need.
They'll make exactly what you need, and I'm gonna tell you, their fried chicken is, man. I mean, you talk to a brother, and someone who loves fried chicken. Publix, if you're not going to a black-owned fried chicken place and you want to get as close to black as you can, go to a Publix deli. They'll make it happen for you.
I got to get ready to hop off of here, you guys. But it was a pleasure just chatting with you guys and the family. And Brother Karis, Brother Mike, I need to chat with you guys when you get a minute.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, I'm about to shut this up by 11.
Okay.
I wanted to have. All right, thank you, Brother Oral. Thank you for jumping on. Appreciate it.
Love, brothers. Love you all. Love your family out there.
Hey, shalom to you, Oral. Much love to you, and appreciate it. Having a chance to kick it with you, brother. It's always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Mike. I'll chat with you later, brother.
All right, then, bro. Be safe out there.
And everyone else, have
all
a
right.
great weekend. Shalom.
Okay. Shalom.
All right. Shalom, pre-Shabbat. Yeah, so I wanted to open up the lines. We're as much as we get a lot of opposition, this is a blessing about it. We can go through opposition and we're okay. Because why? Because the curses are lifting. I think people really, truly don't understand or appreciate what these curses really meant for our people. To go through opposition and then, just folks saying, man, forget this, forget that. We can't do that. We have to continue to build with one another. And we have to continue to love one another. And I know it's a hard thing. We've had generations that were literally destroyed. Generations of our people. And then our people are now starting to understand that. They're starting to look back. They're starting to see and recall, man, this is what was happening. This is why this thing was going on. You look back in the late 1860s, 1870s, 1880s, black folks were integrated. They had cohesion amongst themselves. They would work amongst themselves. They would circulate the dollar. They had businesses. There was actually a study. If people can see this, I'll have to find that on out. But there's actually a study that I know Brother Christian would know this because I think he brought this one up. It was called the Nadir of the South. That from the late 1860s to the 1910s, 1920s. That was a time of incredible black wealth in this nation. The black wealth was incredible. That's something to say. And the dollar was circulated amongst black folks because the services were all done by black folks. You had, for quote unquote wealthy white people in the area, they had to go to black people in order to get their basic services done. Home repair, plumbing, grocery shopping, getting, grocery stores. We had it. And what they were doing, they would bring their dollar into the community, and then it would be matriculated and recirculated in the community.
Hey, brother Karras, not to cut you off, and I'm kind of hope because I really don't put up videos anymore. Well, I might put up a video about it, but it might get taken down because I'm going to go hard. But just a heads up, you might want to be on the lookout for this narrative that the shy people, with the word knees behind it, shy and then knees. I mean, they're trying to push a narrative in California that they were getting off slave boats. They were coming in as slave playing, some really sad music and everything. And trust me, we know what, the slave march looks like. We know. So anyway, they want to say that these shy people with knees behind it, came in as slaves, not blacks, in 1878. But slavery in the United States was abolished in 1865. So, like I say, I may do a video about it, I may not. But if I don't, maybe you or your Cobra could unpack that because that is a straight out fraudulent lie. And I'm deeply offended by that. Like I say,
Well,
I'm going to keep y'all offended. I'm going to keep y'all updated on the stuff that should offend us.
well, it's just like this, like the Irish were slaves, and that has been totally debunked. They never were. Indentured servitude was indentured servitude. If they didn't do their servitude, they just got shipped on back. And they were
Bingo,
not
exactly.
and they were not allowed to continue whatever practice or trade they brought with them from Ireland there in the here in the US, the New World at that time. There was never any slavery. There was no beatings. There was no chattel anything with them. Matter of fact, they were the indentured servants to do what? To institute the beatings and the cruelties. And then when they would get through with their indentured servitude, then they themselves would have money to buy other slaves. These are facts. These are not this is not alternative history. This is not a CRT thing. It's just facts. But you have to remember the narrative isn't for us. The narrative is actually for other people to say, look, we know that this place is going to go down. We know that we had gotten rich off of the backs of quote unquote African Americans, but real Israelites. But we don't want to go through the judgment that these folks had gone through. And that's why the nations are being judged. It's a collective force. And you can tell it's a collective force because why? Because they have been paid their reparations for any wrongdoing or perceived wrongdoings that they've had while here in Babylon. That's it.
Yep.
They can't get away from it. The history dictates what we all see. And this is why they get mad at history. This is why they want to take away the books.
Oh,
Oh, it's
Karis,
yeah.
just as a bit of tidbit of information, if you check your family history down in Florida, depending on how far back they go, if you have family that would have been in Ocoee, Florida,
Yeah.
y'all also have a direct claim to that government, probably to the United States government for a claim to get money because that whole town was decimated by liberals, the Ku Klux Klan. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I'm going to put it all out there. If I put a target on my back, so be it. They could come for me, but I tell you what, if you want to get some ASS, you better bring some ASS. That's all I'll say.
You know, and yeah, Ocoee was one of those ones. You know, there's a rumor in my family that 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 on my grandmother's side, because my grandmother's side is they're straight native to Florida. Um, on my dad's side of the house, and that's the rumor that they've always had was, they own land in Orlando area, which Ocoee is Orange County, and they had land before things really got up and going, and being very industrialized. Because the way that it actually went was that you have State Route 7. I'm just going to give you some Florida geography here and some history. State Route 7 down in Florida is known as the Military Trail. The Military Trail was utilized in order to ensure that folks from Cuba and the Spanish weren't gonna set up any type of a beachhead and operate to, take Florida. So that's why you have Military Trail, which turns into 441, which actually turns into the Turnpike, which then turns into 95, and then it all turns into US 1. But all along the trail, you had all these different cities, these settlements. These settlements turned into towns. And so that's where you would have, and here in Florida, Florida was traditionally very African American heavy.
Yep, the Maroons. You're absolutely right,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah. So when people are like, oh, I'm Seminole, and then you realize Seminole is actually a derivative of Cimarrones, which is which is basically criminals, because the criminals were what? Runaway slaves.
Bingo, Con. You're right. 100%. You're there.
So, when people say I'm native, I'm well, understand Seminole is actually not a derivative of any type of a uh uh I'm going to say a Japhetic family lingual pattern, because it is. These are lingual patterns. They derive from the east or the west, which is the far east. It's amazing how the Japanese, how the other islanders are what? Are dark, but they
it's
do have light, the hair variations, straight hair, things of that nature.
especially in far northern Japan, Karis. You catch a lot of them as dark as any of us in this chat right now.
Hmm. The people don't understand that you had a lot of Dutch influence and Spanish influence in East Asia. So therefore, you understand the lightning strategy that was going on. So don't let people fool you. So when people were seeing that here in Florida, well, what is also another thing that black folks do? Well, we're enterprising. Okay, we'll trade with you. All right, cool. We got some goods here. Yeah, we'll roll up into these swamps right there. Grab this for you, do this for you. Because black folks don't shy away from trade. And that's where a lot of our family had. This is why I don't like to talk to you all or have you look at the Census Bureau numbers and statistics from the 1870s and 1880s. Some black people would just be like, well, you know what? I'm not a laborer. I'm an owner. I run this. I'm like, you know how proud we are. Man, I can read and write. You better get out of here. It's just safer if you just said that you don't know how to read. Right? You know how our black folks are, you know how our family is. Man, I can read this. Matter of fact, I wrote my own book. Yeah, but you want to know what? Yeah, that's so these circumstances, of course, when people started to come down, they started to see the how lucrative the trading was because you have crops that yield year round. Then of course, then you had the federal government come down and the institution of the nadir began to get decimated. And you had a culmination of that being decimated all the way up until the early 1920s. And then they said, look, there was a roaring 20s that did what? It quickly crashed. Because why? Because when you're spilling innocent blood on the ground, then guess what? The Most High has a problem with that. And then the land goes through what? Famine. And then what happened? They quickly had a dust bowl, and then that quickly did what? It quickly destroyed the economy. So now, with the Gold Act and everything else of 1934, understand this is fiscal policy to do what? To eventually get us out of a balance. What do you think balances comes from? The weight of wealth. Where's that weight come from? Gold. What is gold? It is a standard measurement of wealth that is universal. And this is why BRICS understands this, and that's why they said they're hurrying this thing on up. They're going to try to do a gold-backed currency in 1924. You realize that's less than 6 months. In 1924, gold always holds up to anything fiat. That is the declaration of war. They just don't want to tell you that that's the declaration of war. They just want to say, oh, it's not going to happen. It's not this. But in the background, oh my goodness, every agency is prepping and gearing up. That's what's happening. But that's why when you see these traditional things in our family, hey, we used to own property there. Hey, we used to have this, have that. And then when you can do is that you can actually go into the state records and run a property search. And for some odd reason, those properties get reacquired by the state, by the county. And then those same addresses of where our family had once lived, those roads begin to be renamed and reshuffled.
Hey, bro, Karis, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
With speaking of Ocoee, do you think they went the way of what that area where the University of UGA is at right now, where it was? We all know that Ocoee was Ocoee. I can't remember the name of the area up in Georgia where UGA, the college is right now, but where that was taken,
Hmm.
decimated, the people killed off, and then they built over it and tried to bury. So shouldn't there be some kind of paper trail leading to who, what family, or who at least lived in those areas before all of this happened?
Hmm. There's always a paper trail. That's why they progressively made it harder for folks to up and research the paper trail. Believe it or not, I mean, I think there is an actual like when you have Bruce's Beach, you had a law firm that was actually doing that. That was actually, they're that's what they do. They research those records. Those records go all the way to the state libraries. I've done extensive research, even on my own family.
But can we access the state libraries?
You can, in some records, guess what you have to do? You actually have to drive on up there. You have to drive on up there. You have to physically request it. It's crazy. You
Oh,
have to go to, like, for me, my dad and I, we took a trip back in October 2021. Mind you, I started. I had started at at my job. Been there for a couple weeks, and I was trying to get some things taken care of with my dad. And we drove. We did a 24-hour little pump. We drove on up there, grabbed what we needed to grab from the state of Virginia, and then we came down. But the records, we had to get them pulled from the library of the state of Virginia. It's a process. It's a real big process.
see, that sucks. That's discouraging because a lot of those, because we said the state library, they ship a lot of that stuff over now. I mean, I don't know when they started doing it because I'm not up on that, but I know they ship a lot of that stuff now into the Library of Congress, and they hide that stuff
Hmm.
specifically from us. They
Hmm.
don't hide it from them; they hide it from us. So
Yeah, but you have to, and that's where it's hard because you have to do a records request, you have to do e-discoveries, you have to do FOIAs. The list can go on and on. You have to go through NARA, which is the National Archives and Records Agency. There's a lot of things, and they do that to primarily discourage you from looking at those records, from researching those records. It's a process. Do not be fooled. It is a process.
and maybe you have the patience for it. I personally don't. And see, that's what gets me. Why I
Hmm.
just give up because people like you and some of the others, some of the other brothers and sisters, y'all have the patience for it. Me, I'll cut somebody out, and then I'll wind up going to jail. Because when and when they say knowing is one thing, proving is another.
Hmm.
Like anyway, yeah, I'm just like I'm going through that. That's why I'm asking questions, and it's really frustrating the hell out of me.
Well, everybody's going through that, and that's why they have right. They've made things a lot less convenient. If this was pre 2020, no big deal. Post 2020, oh, it's a big deal because everybody's asking questions. Wait a second. Let me get an understanding of this. And now, right, things it's not that they can't find it. It's now it's gonna be a delay in in getting the record that you want requested. Oh yeah, go ahead. Take a look. See what your family records have.
Hey, Karis, I'll be right back. I need to make a phone call real quick. I'll be right back.
And that's where you have a lot of what we see happening. It that is happening. You think that Bruce's Beach is the only one? No, not at all. But it gives people hope. It gives us hope that wow, there is a recourse of some sort of justice. And that's why, look, I'm telling you, family, they're going to be overwhelmed. And shout out to Brother Benaiah Israel with the Israelite Justice Foundation. I hope I'm saying that right. Please, somebody correct me in the chat if I'm not saying that right. The Israelite Justice Foundation.
Well,
And
we're going through a thing in Texas, and I hate to center myself on this, but I won't say the property, but it's a very lucrative property,
mm-hmm,
and our family is directly involved in it.
mm-hmm,
I pretty much throw my hands up, and I just left it in the hands of the Most High, because knowing what I know, like as sure as I know I'm breathing, and yet it's all this. You need this to prove this. You need this. You need that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna dance your dance. That's why I'm like, yeah, I'm frustrated. I'm pissed off, but at the same time, I have to be at peace about it, because what's going to change if I go off and get into my skin color and do what they expect me to do?
mm-hmm. And exactly, and that's what they expect. They expect you to get frustrated. They expect you to go through, show your behind and be like, look, you look at how you are. You're an uncivilized ruffian, right? So, so and that's what proves, for them, that's what proves a point to the rest of the world. See, this is why we had to, take and recoup back, these items, because if not, this is what we be dealing with and yada yada, right? That's the narrative that they try to paint and create over us. The problem is now the rest of the world, they don't care for that narrative anymore. That narrative is actually a dead narrative. And if you couldn't tell that that it's a dead narrative, then see how things have been received. When you had Kamala Harris, the vice president of the United States, visit Tanzania back in I think it was like March, April timeframe, and it was a dead, excuse me, February, March, and it was a dead reception. See how you just had Anthony Blinken, the Secretary of State in China. It was a dead reception, and they say that because why? Now that influence, that stronghold that the world has been under, is no longer there. And simply put, it's no longer there because we back home don't really give it any of that validity that we had once given it. We don't empower it the way that we have, empowered it. They actually looked at the amount of voter statistics or voter participation in this last election. And they actually admitted this about 6 or 7 months later, after the 2020 election, that participation in the election by African Americans was at its lowest historical moment, the lowest participation voter turnout ever historically. And what that does is that means, look, we don't see that this nation is doing anything for black folks, African Americans. So when they see that, and then what actually ended up happening, then black folks started to travel in droves back to Africa. And they're doing that now. Don't think that there's a problem processing passports. There's not a problem processing passports. The problem is black folks are requesting passports at at historical all-time rates.
Well, hey, brother, don't be surprised, Karis. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't know how far Fort Lauderdale is from where you are specifically, but there's a group out there, and I applaud them for what they're doing. If for no other reason than to stir the pot and keep the stink in the air. It's called the Yahuru. Uh, I mean, they have a chapter in Florida and another one in Missouri. That's their two
Mhm.
strongest chapters, but they're kind of raising up a stink there. And one of the leaders is this, sister who is light skinned, wears glasses, very, very articulate, and she's cute, but I think she's married to somebody, and that's all good there. But Florida is about to become the hotbed for a lot of stuff. You need to, really watch your back out there, brother. You need to, be careful out there. I'll just say that.
Yeah, no, I exactly. I appreciate it. Yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah, she was in on a local election here in St. Pete. I think she's only like 21 or 22 years old. She's very young, you know. And then there are some other things going on with that political organization. But again, the concept of politics and um, I would say not just politics, but the concept of participatory representation within a government system is something that really black folks aren't interested in. And honestly, they could see that we're not very interested in that. Well, don't you care? Don't you care? Look, the that test, that test bed, right, was really the lack of interest that we have about Ukraine. There is a general lack of interest that we have regarding Ukraine. And they get mad because we tell them we don't really care about Ukraine. Well, don't you care? Don't that can affect your freedoms? Well, then you ask them, well, then what freedoms do we have here anyway? Well, you're not supposed to talk like that. Well, if
Hey,
you don't like my opinion, then why you ask me for my opinion? If you don't like what I'm saying.
hey, Karis, if they ask you about Ukraine again, do like I do, and I say it with my chest, and I say it with those things hanging between my thighs. I say, "Hoorah!"
I look at it like this. Look, we don't all Ukraine is to me, and this is my personal 2 cents. All Ukraine is to me was this was a projection of a light war that didn't go the way that they wanted to project it. So it's a buildup. And that buildup had to occur. No matter how mad people would get that things are building up. They're the ones now, they're kicking and screaming. How do we get involved? How do we do this? Where do we need to? There's no will. We just don't have the will. And I would argue we don't really have the patience for it. because we're not really in those systems like how we once had been. If you see that black folks are trying to get their passports and visit the continent, even the visit, that means that black people have lost interest in this, which is really a dangerous proposition that the US is encountering. Just as Brother Michael had said, or excuse me, Brother Fastnickel had said earlier, with Laban, they don't want to see us go. Well, oops, we had some issues with this. Oh, well, sorry, we had a cyber attack, and now passport processing is going to be down for 6 months.
Hey, bro, technically, we're not even citizens of this country. We can use their own constitution against them. I mean, we're still three-fifths. That haven't been. It's 2023. That haven't been amended. So you know what? We can still get out of here. I mean, they made that mess up with that whole passport thing. They know what they're doing. We know what they're doing. They're just trying to keep us in prison and handcuffed and sold to their hips. We're done with them. We can leave and they can turn gray and turn into lizards and snakes and consume each other. For all we care, we're gone. And like I
Well,
said,
yeah, let me ride off that piggyback, Brother Rojo. This is why they are not particularly happy with the African Union right now, because the African Union has actually recognized us, black folks, the African diaspora, under the African Union 6th region. And that 6th region is a conundrum for the West. What's happened right now is they don't want to be very vocal about this African Union 6th region, because why? Because there's a whole bunch of legal precedent that's wrapped up in this, which means there's a whole bunch of splaining that has to be done. And they're not ready for that splaining. So you can get a digital passport. The question is, who's going to recognize that passport? What weight does that passport or documentation truly have? Will airlines recognize that passport? Will you be able to use that passport to travel to Ethiopia and Ethiopia only? These are the things that, well, it depends. It depends on how much power really the African Union gives that passport. So these are the critical points. These are critical points. These aren't just decision points. These are critical points, because we really haven't understood in the grand scale what these actions really imply. What does that imply? What does that truly mean? How does that truly work for us? Is my $170 on this digital passport, does it really have the effect of a passport that a U.S. citizen has would spend their $170 for a passport book? I don't know what's gonna happen with that. It still remains to be seen. I just say it's very interesting.
Well, let me ask you another question, and I hate to sound kind of shady when I ask this, brother, but could we just slip up under some bean bags and just, I don't want to say it on your channel, but the word starts with an S, and just get there that way.
Well, get what? Yeah, and again, that raises a lot of legal precedents, right? You could, I mean, legally speaking, the worst thing that they want to have from the UN is all these findings that do show all of the negative things that happen to us. Because truthfully speaking, that's what they didn't want to have happen. They didn't want to have the family members of George Floyd speaking out. They didn't want to have that. They didn't want to see that. Because why? Because what that does is that opens up the doorway to, well, if they're speaking out about human rights violations, then guess what? When somebody flees from a nation or an area that has human rights violations, well, that's actually an article that can be utilized under the UNHCR, the Human Rights Commission, or the HRC, however you want to pronounce it. It's either the French or the English models.
But what would that do for us, though? I mean, for Israel, for FBA, however people want to label us, like, how would that benefit or be some kind of kinetic force to move us forward?
Well, I think in terms of the force, that I don't want to speculate, and I don't even want to try to speculate, because there's a lot of factors that go into there. However, the problems that the West face is then what can they do to rebuff it based off of the track record of human rights violations against African Americans. You see what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah. I got you.
You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, so therefore, it's not necessarily you sneaking in. It's going to be, well, what then are you afforded as a literal refugee from the United States, and then what type of political um connotations does that have? Because I guarantee you, them folks at that embassy will be fighting tooth and nail to bring that person back that snuck on over, and they'd be giving every reason why it's false, while that person who is the refugee saying, look, I'm going to quote all of these human rights violations that has already been recognized by the UN.
And see, that's what I'm afraid of right there, brother Karras. What you just said is right there. Let's say all of us in mass do that. The S word, STO. And I'll just stop there. I think that America would fully deploy their military and their resources to get us back over here. That, I guess, that's where the conflict lies within me, is how do we sort that to where we could just be done when we leave.
Are you saying then, Brother Rojo, that they would do a global slave patrol? That the mission has changed. Operation Catch a Negro. Is that what?
Hey, it'll be like
Forget
Resident
Russia
Evil.
and China. We need to go into the Congo. We're gonna be looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger's character from Predator, just all sorts of covered up and dirt, so we can hide from infrared sensors and body and hands and everything else.
It'll be like the end of Resident Evil, the one where the brother says star power, and then you saw those black helicopters flying on a seek and destroy or seek and recover mission. Then you'll see like thousands of those just flying looking for us.
Black folks would be up in the Congo. We would just be chilling with the chimpanzees, be like, When the chimpanzees move, we just move with them.
or like
They leave us alone. We leave them alone. It's all good here.
or like the silverback gorillas learn how to step sideways on our hands and legs.
You just look. You just train some gorillas to be your bodyguards. You know,
Because I'm telling you, they are going to come look for us. I mean, I don't know if it was Benai. You said the name before, so I don't know if it's someone from Benai Israel's channel, but we had a verbal discussion, and he said if we tried to leave, well, this is 2017. If we tried to leave that day and we were all just at the airport en masse, that we'd be slaughtered or arrested because they just wouldn't let us leave.
They wouldn't let us. Yeah.
So I think something catastrophic would have to happen on the soil here, which I think with all this stuff going on, I'm still a proponent, and I still say this as quack as I may sound, as crackpot as I may sound, I still think that there's a 3 days of darkness headed here that will probably afford us that opportunity, because even in this weakened state right now, we're not going to be able to leave in Mars. Not if we don't want to be floaters, floating in the water from bullet holes in our back. I'm just saying.
Are you kidding? The moment that black folks have to deal with 3 days of darkness, we up on out of here. Which black person have you ever seen in one of them haunted horror movies where it's like, what was that, The Conjuring or some other mess? Do black folks never stay in a haunted house? Not me.
No. Once that fly says get out, we're moving out.
Exactly. Nah, this place suffered 3 days. I counted it on my watch. I put on the stopwatch. I said, let me go. My Apple timer done went off, and it was 72 hours exactly. It's time to roll. I'm bouncing. Every black person will try to find themselves a ticket. They will put themselves in a big old box, take some sleeping pills, and ship themselves next day air. They're gonna say, drop me off in the continent. What's the shipping address? Anywhere on the continent. I don't even care.
Hey, Karis, you know how we're known to break into junkyards and stuff like that? We'll break into a junkyard, find the tires of a front end loader, cut that bad boy open, get the inner tube out of there, and we'll throw that in the water and let the current carry us on across.
You would see nothing but black folks just kind of. They realize it's one of those sharks, right? These sharks are going to do anything to us. That 3 days of darkness. No. I'm out. You had black folks talking about, I'm just going to give you a one-way ticket on a cruise the next day.
And hey, you know what? The orcas, the killer whales, they'll be with us. They'll be our escort. Shoot, they see those ships coming, they'll get up under there. They know how to disrupt them propellers, stop them ships dead in the water.
Yeah. You think black folks want to really stay around? Man, if folks can afford it, they're going to be like, look, I just need to take out a loan to buy this, purchase this one-way trip, this one-way ticket. They leave. Look, all I need is just my cell phone. I'm out.
Yeah, hold your hand up. Make sure no water splashes on it, or get you one of those waterproofs. Get you one of those gasket kits to put in your cell phone, so that way if you have to dive low.
Are you kidding? Look, we just use duct tape and a Ziploc baggie. Stop playing.
But I'm telling you that they are going to hate it. That's why I tell people. When I tell people, when we talk about leaving, don't hit no airport. That's the first place they're going to look. They're going to have those F-16s ready. Hit that water. You hit that water, they're not going to be, let them send some Marine frogmen or some Navy SEALs. Those dolphins and those mako sharks and those great white sharks and orcas, those killer whales, will tear their behinds up. They're not going to come after us in the water. You go up there in the sky, you're at the mercy. You just better stay prayed up.
You know what black folks will do? Black folks will get a trash bag with a swimming suit. with some beach shoes. And you know, the funny thing is, we would take that inner tube because we would already book flights from Havana, Cuba to the continent. We would say we're gonna have chefs paddling so nobody gets tired. When we get up onto that shore, we're gonna say donde está el aeropuerto. People already have, donde está cambiar mi pantalones? Where can I change my clothes? Donde está comida? Where can I eat? We not look. What's the donde está el direcciones a la aeropuerta?
Hey, no, Karis, they'll be looking at us in those ripped plastic bags, garbage bags, floating down the ocean, and they'll investigate. It'll be a bunch of brothers and sisters up there, breathing in the air out of those garbage bags, and then breathing out while we float, holding our breath.
You're thinking too hard about that. You're thinking too hard about it. You just go into that red tide patch, cut yourself out a piece of that red tide, and be like, you be that red tide piece floating away. that red tide piece is deliberately floating. To Havana. Look at that. That thing is going to Cuba. That red tide piece has some get up and go.
And Ashada Shakur, she'll have her peeps out there waiting with those 50 calibers, kind of covering us in case somebody do try to come out after us, she'll provide the cover fire above our heads until we hit the land out there. And then from there we
you're just gonna be real smart about it. What do? You're gonna land at night. That's how folks are. It's a real simple prospect. With them garbage, people are talking about prepping. Man, you ain't prepping with 3 days of darkness. Get out of here.
Oh, you sure ain't.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Come on now. I'm gonna prep for nuclear radiation. Yeah, that your behind gets obliterated in. Stop playing.
Exactly.
Black folks don't do that prepping stuff. Black folks, we run.
We sure do. We take our beeswax candles, we get in groups, and we head on out.
Yeah. I never heard of prepping. I don't know if Harriet Tubman was a prepper. I don't think so.
Nope.
You run under the cover of darkness. Look, every black person won't be like, yo, I'm out. I'm out. I don't know how we leaving. We gotta leave. Your mama, everybody's mama and the dad gonna be calling, hey, your mom and dad, your mom and I, we leaving. We pick you up at this spot. Look, be there or be square. We don't.
And you're right there on the water. So once you hit the Gulf of Mexico, all you got to do is just kind of push yourself around that bend and get past the Keys.
I'm taking that Gulf Stream. That's called the Gulf. That's the Atlantic Gulf Stream current. That's what I told you.
There you go. Yeah. That'll carry you right to it.
I'm gonna be like Finding Nemo, man. I gotta take this Gulf Stream current and just try to battle myself to hit them waters of Havana. It's only 90 miles.
And I was just gonna say that I didn't even think it was that. I thought it was less than that. I thought it was like 60 miles or 50.
No,
but
it's only 90 miles. You just backstroke.
I was just gonna say, yeah, you could just lay on your back and just kick your feet. Take you a couple of days.
Take you a couple of days. Take you what? That's what I said. You buy that ticket a week in advance.
Maybe a whale shark could come swim alongside of you. You could grab the fin and get there a lot faster.
You know how black folks are going to be. They're going to be like, man, if only I could just talk to a fish. They're going to be shouting underwater. Oh, I seen this on Free Willy. You trying to do some high pitched sounds on the water? I heard that the frequency will travel in the waves in the water.
Gonna be that plebiscite talk. Let me see if I can talk to the waves and vibrate my body and wiggle my feet, cause a circular motion, and then cause a reptile and an undertow.
You know what's so sad? Black folks will bring rope with them and be talking about, you know that we were the first cowboys, right? So I'm just gonna lasso me this dolphin and we gonna be straight.
Shoot, they better not mess with Flipper. Flipper carried them up there to the Plymouth Rock, Massachusetts.
This dude is riding a dolphin. It's Aquaman name. It's Aquaman. You ever heard Aquaman?
Aquaman. Shoot, they get, and I'm gonna tell you, and you know, this all kidding aside, I believe in sirens. So you know what? If we're gonna do that, we better stay in groups. And if we hear some beautiful singing, don't go toward it.
Man, that Coast Guard would be all over us. That Coast Guard would be all over us. Look, black folks, I'm telling you, black folks will be hitting the water. Well, pull floaties.
Yeah, and you know what? We're known for carjacking. We'll catch one of those cartels in a little submarine, and we'll subjack a fool. You know, we'll go up and open that door, break yourself, get out.
Let me tell you this. Here in Florida, in the suburbs, everybody's pool supplies will just be straight ganked. Everyone's pool supplies. I'm taking this floaty here. I'm taking this inner tube.
I'm taking this surfboard.
Yeah. This paddleboard. I'm taking this
paddleboard. I'm gonna take those water parachutes so I can windsurf on my feet out this mud.
I'm taking this you know, those little lounging inner tubes where you can just have the full body. They're gonna be like, I need the one with the little cup holder koozie.
I need one with the cup holder, and I need one with a bigger cup holder so I can put my 40 there. You know, so we're just gonna be cruising. They even have some of those kinds with the little designer rims on them. You know, the Daytons and everything. I've seen those down there in Florida. That's what I want. Give me something shiny with some Daytons.
Now, black folk ain't done with. They're not gonna be any dumb stuff like that. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Those marinas will be closed because we're gonna be hijacking some boats.
I'm telling you, man, we're gonna be hijacking a cartel. I guarantee you, they ain't gonna be transporting no drugs that day because they know we'll swim up there and we'll pull a menace to society on them. You know, don't make me rush you. Get up out the sub. Get up out the sub.
Yeah, them folks floating over from Cuba, they're gonna be looking at us like, y'all floating the wrong way. We're gonna be telling them, no, y'all floating the wrong way.
Now I'll be like, shoot, go ahead, clear out Cuba. If y'all want to go that way, yeah, America's that way. Back behind us, 50 miles behind us, go. You know, we'll go 50 miles, 40 miles, you know, your way. You know, just point us in the right direction. We see how those pirates say land ho. We see land ho, and we see, you know, little feathers and people shaking their hips and everything. We'll know that we're headed the right way. Now they can have up here. They can have Florida. They can have Texas, Alabama. I think Alabama is a coastal state because Mobile. They can have Mississippi. They can have Tennessee. Yeah. And I actually like Tennessee, but I want out of here. I'm telling you, man, I'll swim as long as I don't hear no sirens. I ain't trying to get drowned to get ate by those distorted looking women.
I'm just telling you, look, you put it right there on the money. That 3 days of darkness, when that sucker hits, everybody's gonna try and leave. It's like, oh, it's time to bounce now. Something now is up on biblical proportions.
Hey, Karis, how many times have I said that? At least throughout over the past year, like from last June until this time, I probably brought it up about 6 or 7 times, and
Hmm.
people really wouldn't elaborate on it. But now people are seeing, especially with this scare that y'all had, and I was really worried about y'all because I thought that that African dust was going to black out your whole state. Thankfully it didn't. But people actually taking that seriously now. That 3 days of darkness is
I,
coming.
I would say this. I'm just gonna say this. The only way that I could see 3 days of darkness actually occurring. This is just me, just in the secular realm, right? Not in the spiritual, just in a secular fashion. In a secular fashion, I want to give that disclaimer: secular flat fashion is that there would be a couple of nuclear devices detonated over the North American continent.
Brother, you're right there with me. That's what ask anybody. Ask your Cobra. That's what I've been saying. What you just said is exactly what I've been saying. You're gonna hear loud, thunderous noises the night before. It's gonna be very cold. What happens when one of those devices go off almost immediately after? It gets very cold. It's called a in winter. I
Hmm.
won't say the word because I'm not trying to get you trying to shut down or hit. In winter. So you know what I'm saying when I say that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but I would say that the you would have, because what we'll do is
Mhm.
it would disrupt the weather patterns.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. I got you. I
You get
got
what I'm
you.
saying? It would
Yeah.
disrupt. It would literally disrupt all the weather patterns. It probably would take a few days for those weather patterns to kind of pick back on up, and then eventually, gradually, move those clouds out the way. That's
Oh,
you
got you.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I believe could produce that. That's a potential. I'm going to say that could potentially produce something like that. At this, excuse me. At the same time, the effect would be very, very psychological, especially on the predominant or the dominant population. It would be an immediate effect, emotional and psychological effect, because then people would say, can we get out of our homes? Can we even do this? Can we even do that? You know, there's a lot of things that would go on.
What do you know why I say that 3 days of darkness is coming, and why I think that was a training session for us is because you remember 2020 when they had the 3 months of the lockdowns,
Hmm.
and who were the main ones that couldn't stand, just stayed locked in the house? Who were the main ones that were having to just, I mean, yeah, brothers and sisters turned up and got in the streets, but that was because during the lockdowns, George Floyd happened. So, that was a trigger, but other than that, who was mainly running out there talking about they can't be locked in the house? It wasn't us.
Hmm. Yeah, no, no, that's absolutely right. And what a lot of people really weren't understanding. They're really trying to get a psychological profile, right? Who would really be compliant to this? How would things really look, in the event that this thing happens? So, you know, for the most part, I believe our people would stay in the whole time. We wouldn't want to venture on out. But I also certainly believe that once everything clears on out, then our people will bounce. Then our people will bounce. It's time to go. Look, this is clear weather. We're out.
Yeah, you got a lot of the enemy that's laid out, you know, with their holes in their torsos because some entity done fed off of them. You're right. It'll be the best time for us to just go ahead and learn how to fly a plane or learn how to drive a ship or something, learn how to swim and, you know, get the heck on out of Dodge because um, I mean, you know, that teaching that Yacoba did, and I think he said it was, oh, what book did he say it was? About the eagle with the wings? I'm gonna tell you, man, that scares the bejesus out of me. So, you know, whatever big event is headed this way, I don't want to still be here on the other side of that, is what I'm saying. If I can't cleanly escape out of here, just go ahead and if the most high wishes, judge me and just take me on out. I don't want to be breathing air on the other side of the big event that happens on this side of the world. I just don't. I don't want to be here for that.
Well, I mean, I look at it like this: it's not to destroy us, but his plan is really to save us. That is really his ultimate plan. It is to save us, to save his children. However, when he does do that, there's going to be other mechanisms in place, right? You have I-60. I believe that's when I-60 or Isaiah 60 is in full effect of, hey, we need to get our brothers and sisters.
Oh,
And yes,
okay.
and you have to remember the Europeans, they know that they have to rely on Africa. This is the biggest bargaining chip. And Africa knows that they have to rely on us because why? Because we are war fighters. Let's bring security, let's bring our war fighters back, and then we'll deal with the Europeans. You know, that's the whole that's it. That's it. They know the calculus.
Well, you know it's not going to be easy though. I mean, at least dealing with us, getting us out of here.
No, but you have to remember, look, the Most High doesn't play. And when people understand what's happening, they'll be praying, Father, what is going on? See, there's been incentive to ask, but when you see that, and when people see that, then they'll really have an earnest heart to listen. Because the Most High always does what? He always brings in the conditions of us not being hard-headed.
Oh yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Do you get what I'm telling you? Look,
Yep. Sure
because
do.
why? We woke up, and when we woke up, okay, well, you want, well, I'm just going to do this, and I'm just going to do that, right? We had what we were determined to have, and then as we woke up, then we started to understand scriptures, and guess what? We said this is about to happen in March. You were saying that. Remember, we were saying that something's
Yeah.
about to happen in March.
I remember
Lo
you
and
saying it.
behold,
I remember you saying it in 2020 that you were mentioning that.
yeah, we had, because here's the thing, we were literally looking at that event in September, October. What was going on in China? Excuse me. And then it didn't really start to circulate until when? Until about late November, December. And then we said, oh man, it's going to hit here. And remember, we in this community was saying, it's about to hit us here. And you remember, the other people were saying, that's never going to hit us. It's not going to happen. It's not going to
Yeah.
do this. And then what happened? In February, cases were going up. And then by March, remember, everything shut down.
Everything like almost instantaneously. Like, yeah, you're right. Because I'm an essential worker, so I had to have that thing in my windshield. You're absolutely
Mhm.
right.
Yeah. And now we're looking at this thing, this schedule. It's a schedule. And I was saying, I said, well, we're about to hit our 42 months. And what are they doing? And this didn't come from any of our platforms, any of our channels. And then you hear Canadian Prepper saying, yeah, it looks like it's about to go down late August, September, October. That was on his last video today. See, these are the independent sources that's confirming everything. So now, look, I'm not telling people to, up and go. No, it's what? Be ready, be mindful, be in prayer. I certainly, for me, I don't believe that there'll be a straight overt conflict, but I do believe that there will be a measure of fighting.
Well, you know what some white boy told me, and this is what let me know that I think whatever's going to happen is going to happen in the next couple of weeks. Is because he told me, and out of his own words, in a convenience store, that if it pops off, that he guarantees that they're going to take us out first. Talking about the enemy, whether it's Russia or China. And you know what I told him? I told him that if it pops off in the next 5 minutes, he better not be in my sight, because this is we live in an open carry state. So, the minute the minute that message comes across the news, he won't have any memory or knowledge of anything else on the other side of that. And I think he knew what I was saying. So with that being said, I think something's going to happen. And I don't know how many people's in the chat hearing me or think I'm crazy, but I think something's going to go down in the next couple of weeks. Yeah.
Well, I mean, remember, what did we have? We had September 11th. I mean, everybody, yeah, in recent memory, September 11th. What's always primed. Everyone's is at a super heightened sense, especially in that time frame. Could it be September 20th, 21st, 22nd? I'm not throwing out any dates there, and do not say, okay, I already said that. I'm not throwing out any dates. Funny thing is, I didn't throw out any dates. It was Canadian Prepper that threw out the dates, which is funny because he didn't really understand what that 42-month cycle looks like. But we actually people are mindful, especially on this channel. We're mindful of that cycle. I believe that something kicks off again to upstart to the next cycle. And that next cycle for them ends in war. Because why? Because the plague, right? Famine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pestilence, plague, famine, and now the sword. And that sword is going to wrap up everything else, because it does what? It's going to exacerbate everything. This is why they don't want to go to any type of a confrontation.
No, but I think I think in my opinion, those pink folks are going to start looking at us and trying to target us. And that, I guess that's why, like, for some reason, I just been emphasizing a lot about candy bars today and everything, because I just think it goes back to a video that you did months ago, where about we're no longer being the meat shields for America. We're stepping aside and saying, if you're going to come in, America's got a strong military, let them deal with it. We're not going to, be a buffer for them. They're seeing that. So, and it's not them over there. It's the people that those pale folks that we live amongst that are going to start trying to do something to us. So that's why, I'm just really worried about all of us, myself included. I mean, we just got to keep our Bettys close to us, and keep our Bettys maintained and stay trained up to where if we have to, I mean, we're 1 pound accurate, because I'm telling you, I just feel something, and I'm telling you, it's like within the next 2 weeks, like
Yeah, I think I don't want to get people shook or don't
I got you.
don't get don't and I'm telling this for the general audience, don't get very overly anxious. Don't do that. But just be mindful that we understand that things are going to start moving a little bit faster than it had been. You get what I'm saying? This is why they had the conference there in Vilnius, right? Things are going to start moving a little bit faster than they had been. Now, how are they going to move? Well, this is always that perfect timing, because why? The summit was lasting what? The 11th through the 12th. Today's the 14th. Well, then you have a 60-day cycle. It's 60 days. Everything works in a cycle to do what? It gives them time to plan and to coordinate. So if you haven't seen how this world works, I think we've been awakened for a little bit, that we can kind of infer some different things of how their planning cycle goes.
Yeah.
And it's not to say, oh, we know everything. No, we don't know everything. But what we know is we know enough to be wise in how we have to make decisions. And I'm not telling anybody you need to up and leave and go and do this and do that, because you want to know why? I'm not going to up and leave.
Are you going to stay and deal with it, even if you get the money?
I'm staying and dealing with everything.
Ooh,
Not one. My motto is not one Hebrew left behind.
I got you. So I might have to find you and team up with you then.
Not one Hebrew left behind. But but it's not a bad thing. It's just, look, we're going to look at how this thing's going to go. It's going to go in waves. It's going to go in stages. Because why? Because I believe that when things do pop off, the African nations are going to have to deal with things. They're already talking about it now. If you don't believe that we're not in their conversations in the African Union, then why would they even recognize a sixth region of the African diaspora? We're in their conversations. They know what's getting ready to go down. They understand all this. The only ones that don't has been truly us.
Well, don't a couple of those African nations already have it? Well, not now, not today, like on the 14th of July, but like within a month or so, literally 30 days out, are going to have it to where if we so choose, we'd be on our own to come up with the funds to get over there. But once we hit over there, we have automatic citizenship. I heard that somewhere, and I don't know if it's a bunch of cockamamie or what.
There's other countries that's they're looking at how they can do visa requirements and other things
Hmm.
for making the transition over to Africa easier. And Kenya is one of those countries. They're working
Kenya?
on Yeah, Kenya actually is one of those countries. They're working on a plan right now.
Okay.
Yeah, Ruto came out with this about, I think, last month sometime. And that was definitely while we were out in Tanzania, because we tried to talk to the Tanzanians and be like, hey, you see what Kenya's doing? Yes, but it is hard for us. I don't know if it's going to be that hard. See, you got to understand, everything that
Whoa.
everything that we do It's not us that lights the fire. It's the Most High that lights the fire. We can talk about this all we want. We're not going to be empowered really to do anything unless the Most High empowers us. So when people are coming in here saying, I don't believe that the Most High is doing that, I don't believe that, okay, well, that's what you believe. But when you
No,
see things happening in front of your eyes, then are you just not going to believe what you see? Okay.
no, that's just because Karis, don't listen to people like that. Those detractors, they still have their noses between the butt cheeks of Sky Zaddy, Zigzag Man, but Jesus. I mean, I don't prescribe to calling him. I know some people do. I personally don't. I mean, my real name is my real name. Call me by my real name, unless I prescribe otherwise. Like on this channel, you could call me Rojo. Other than that, if you know me personally, don't call me, Steve when my name is don't even begin with an S. So that I say that to say this. We know who our Elohim is. So these other folks that's detracting, trying to say this and say that, they're still stuck on that Eurocentric doctrine. They're still looking at some man that looked like the lead singer of the Doobie Brothers, or Barry Gibb. So I wouldn't even pay any attention to that, bro. I'm just saying.
Man. So, yeah. Yeah, listen. Yeah, but yeah, I can not pay attention, but listen, there are folks that pay attention. There are folks that listen to that. And we do have to be able to address that because why? Because you don't want any of the Most High's children to fall. And if we allow for that to happen, then guess what? That judgment's going to come back on us.
Oh, okay, I got you. I feel you. I follow where you're going.
You see what I'm saying? So look, it has to be said. Now I can take the personal attacks. I knew what I was getting signed up for. But when the attacks come and they're directed at family and family members, unsolicited, you see what I'm saying? Then that's the problem.
Well, me personally, I expect that from the Gentiles. It just shocked me when it came from within, especially that brother Jason, Philip McCauley. Like I really almost got beside myself and started cussing him out. And of course, you would have had to do what you had to do, and I respect that. But I'm like, come on. I mean, you sound no different than them folks. I mean,
You got to understand how fear comes in. Fear comes in a lot of variety of reasons. It comes in. That's just how that happens. And then when you incite fear, the fear runs rampant. And we have to be understanding with our people. So, when you address our people, they're going to push things over the line because our people always do, because that's what happens with fear. It's always an unnatural reaction. And you get so caught up in your own fear that when you realize what you said, you actually understand you're out of character. Because it was the fear that takes over. Fear messes up a lot of people. That's why the word says to fear not.
Well, isn't being fearful of sin? Don't he like frown down on that?
He does. The Most High does. He does. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to attack him and be like, hey, well, let me give you some scripture verses about fear and see, look how fearful you are. And let me give you a ton of scripture verses. Well, then I'm not approaching him in love. Because what? Love covers what? A multitude of sin. Covers a multitude of transgressions. And we have to be mindful that a lot of our people, we act in fear. That's how we've been conditioned. That's how we've been trained. So I'm just not gonna go up and bite people's heads off because it's like, no.
But I don't want to bite their heads off, but what I want to do is get them to see, okay, if right now our strongest allegiance is us. If you alienate us from yourself, then what do you have? You're completely exposed on an island by yourself. Who wants to be that? Because really, I mean, to be honest with you, if I feel that my own brother or sister of my, kindred, my genealogy can't deal with me, and those folks see that, how do you think they're going to respond to it? How do you think they're going to deal with me? I mean, honestly, Karis, I mean, your own people don't even like you. So they've already been trying to push that narrative anyway, all my life, with the whole Hamitic, deception thing. So now that we've awakened and, you're alienating yourself from your people, to appease to whatever, you ain't gonna get no mercy from them. I mean, just like Tupac said, take him out of the game, the next one ain't gonna have no mercy. I'm not trying to conflate or compare him to the Most High or even anything immediately surrounding the Most High, but those words he said resonate with me ever since I heard those words 15 years ago, and that's what this brother's doing that we were dealt with earlier.
Yeah, and I mean, look, and don't get it twisted. I want to deal with everybody in love and fairness. Because why? Because we were once those people, every one of us. Every one of us. And some people don't know how to deal with it. And I get it. So that's why, look, I could have easily stood my ground. I could have easily stood the position. I could have easily have bounced them out of the chat a whole lot earlier. But you want to know why I let him do all that? Because I said, Father, I said, I thank you that in the event that you are testing me, I said, I thank you. I appreciate it. That's what I said, I appreciate it. Thank you, Father, that I'm getting beat up. Thank you, Father, that I'm getting hit. And that's in that soft spot where my armor isn't really the hardest. I said, thank you, Father, that this is going on. I don't need to run or shy from people. The Most High has me in this position. If he didn't want me in this channel, he'd take it away. If he didn't want me doing this, then guess what? I'd be doing something else.
Well, unfortunately, you got bigger fish to fry now than just Covenant Awakening. You got and that's a tall order ahead of you dealing with the, whole Q2UA situation. And I mean, I need to find your page again because I want to look up some of your volunteer things that I can do. I mean, because you guys are really, woo! I didn't think it was that hectic, man. You guys are going through it. I feel bad for you guys.
Right. Yeah, but you know what though? Everything is the Most High allowed. And that's fine. Because if you're really doing this work for the Most High, then guess what? You're going to deal with the good, the bad, and the ugly. All the time. There's no respite for this. There wasn't respite for Moses. So what? Do I think I'm gonna get treated any different? It does become emotionally hard. It becomes physically hard. I'm not gonna sit here and complain, oh man, no. I'm going to shake off the dust and just keep it moving because that's what the Most High requires, at least for this season. Because I'm going to tell you, this is an extraordinary work. If it was such an easy work, just like what Brother Orr and Brother Mike has said, then everybody would have done this a while ago. It's not easy. It
Well,
is difficult.
I was almost able to get y'all a steamroller. Almost. I mean, it wasn't a hell of a huge steamroller, but it was a steamroller nonetheless.
Yeah,
But
anything helps. Anything helps. Anything counts.
well, unfortunately, they decided to give it to somebody else. I
And
mean,
and that's going to happen. But you want to know what? There's a mechanism for people giving. So if you know that people are giving things away, then guess what? The Most High will open the door for things to be given to us.
well, what I'm doing, I ain't gonna lie to you. don't shoot me down. I'm going to white people that want us to hell up out of here because they're like anything but reparations. They're like, do you need a car? Do you need
that may just be the angle? You know, hey, you don't know what you don't know. That may just be the angle.
That's what I went to about the steamroller. They were ready to get.
Hey,
They
you
were-
know, hey, no stint off my back. You know that may be it. But I'll have Brother Michael in here. I'm gonna do final closing.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna last but a minute. Brother Michael, any final thoughts? Okay.
Okay, I'll go ahead and give my final thoughts
Yeah,
before I drop down. Hey, look here. This to people in the chat. If y'all like seriously, you don't have to officially be connected to Q2UA as far as like committed to doing stuff for them. But if you run across somebody that probably has, even those who have an anti-black sentiment, and they just are willing to do stuff to, get things going to spur our exit out of here. I mean, talk to them, see if they can, like I said, I almost got a steamroller. So see if you can get a vehicle, a few vehicles. You don't have to ask them for no money, just any type of resources that can help, spur, the movement to get things going over there, to make a smoother inroad for us to get over there. If not Tanzania specifically, just to get to the continent, and then we could sort where we go from there. But the thing is, we need to get the heck up out of here. And I'll just leave it there. Thank you for allowing me on the panel, brother. I love everybody in the chat, on the panel. Shalom, and let's just keep this fight going.
All right. Hallelujah. Thank you, Brother Rojo. Brother Mike, any final comments? All right. Well, nothing heard from Brother Mike. Hallelujah. So yeah, fam, I kept you on out here for 3 hours and 30 minutes. This is a long one. I do apologize. I do want to cut these on down quicker, but we had a lot to discuss. I appreciate, family, the support for the channel with the gifts. I definitely appreciate that. Thank you for those that have given. This is a hard. We're doing one of the hardest things in history. It is. One of the hardest things in history is to come back together as a people. No matter who flings dirt, no matter who throws the mud, we are learning to come back and grow together. I myself am on that journey amongst our own people. So I have to ask the Most High daily to give me patience, to give me understanding. How do I deal wisely? But see, in order to love yourself, you have to learn how to love your people. Plain and simple. Because you have to see yourself in your people. These are our mannerisms. These are our flaws. These are our quirks. But these are also the same strengths that we have. We'll talk up. We'll have conviction. We'll say something. We'll move. But we also have to deal wisely with each other. And dealing wisely with each other means that we need to deal with each other out of love. And when you start to go after other family members, then I'm going to have to address it. Because also a lot of our people do get out of order. So, family, keep me up in your prayers. I appreciate it. Thank you, family, for listening and understanding where this channel has always been about. I've always said this. Pray about it. I'm never going to say, please, 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 consider what I'm saying. Consider my position. That's not my job. My job is to serve our Heavenly Father. I'm going to say what needs to be said, and I let our Heavenly Father, his name is Yahuwah, he does everything else. Because that is the awesome and mighty Elohim that we serve. So if you understand this channel, I don't need to defend myself. I've seen the Most High come to my defense time after time after time after time after time after time. I've been on this thing for 3 years. You want to know how many attacks I've gotten? That comes with the territory. Bottom line, I told you this. I like getting attacked. That does me no never mind. I always look at it like this. Oh, I'm being attacked. Hallelujah. Because if I'm not being attacked by the enemy, then something's wrong. I need to check myself. I'm not being attacked. I guess I'm not going to be effective for the kingdom. But if I get attacked, hallelujah. That means I'm being effective. You get the opposite reaction. You can say I'm a fool. I am a fool. I'm a fool for the Most High. Because it confounds the wisdom of this world. Our wisdom is not their wisdom. So, family, let's keep everyone in prayer. Let's keep our family in prayer. There's a lot of things going on, so a lot of death going on. But we need to all be strong for each other. So, family, have a blessed Shabbat in Yahusha's name. Most High willing, I'll be back on Sunday. Please sign up for our Quest Unite Africa collaboration meeting, our Zoom collaboration meeting. That will be Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please set your watches appropriately. And with that said, family, Shalom, Salama, Siemi, Shalom. Peace and blessings. Yasharel.